What's up, guys? Welcome back to Kitchen Court Cases, where we watch court in my kitchen. My kitchen. There's a lot of quotes around that today. I hope you guys are all doing well. Let's just pretend like life is normal. I think it's gonna be great. Thank you so much, Sashina. This is an old hat dress. It is one of those materials that you can put into a suitcase and roll up and then put on, and it looks great. So I love that. Moonfox Studio, your husband made fried rice tonight. It was delicious. Did he use day old rice? That's the question there. Guys, let me know what you had for dinner. If you didn't like what you had for dinner, tell me what you wish you had for dinner. That will be fine as well. We have a full docket ahead of ourselves today. There's also a crow outside who is screaming at me. And I was like, okay, so Trish made nachos. I was like, I have a lot of shit to do. Okay, Marshmallow Dog Cat had toasted Cheerios. I'm perplexed. We have Cheerios in Canada. Maybe they were already toasted. Cold rice that he made this morning. Yes, that is old rice. That totally counts. Moonfox Studio. Sashina is having turkey chili with cheese chunks. Tomorrow you're gonna make lamb burritos. Your husband's back, Sashina. He made it back safely, I hope. I'm hoping. Jonathan, good reminder. You should eat food. Charles, welcome. I hope you're doing well. Marshmallow Dog Cat says baking the Cheerios with butter and salt. Now, this may be something that in Canada mothers do on Halloween, but that is not a normal activity. Okay. Vicky is having chicken on the grill. I am not eating yet, you guys. I'm going to be totally upfront and honest with you. Haven't thought about it. I've had 3 coffees today. I've had 2 pops. My carbohydrate sugar content way up. We'll sort out the rest later. Um, the crow is still outside. You probably can't hear it because I have a decent mic, and so it's like trained to pick me up. But I can hear the crow outside still, still yelling. It's been like an hour. Um, Also, you ever walk to a store that you remember being there, and then when you get there, it's not there anymore? Because I just did that and I felt sort of dumb. But instead of dwell on that, I just turned right back around and headed back home and thought, oh, we won't talk that much about that. Um, you saw a Canada goose meet his maker today, Charles. That's a little scary. We have a few hearings to watch today, you guys. We're going to start out with a 12-month TPO hearing with Judge Dude from his basement, no less. We'll start there. I also caught a very boring hearing in the sense that if you don't like to watch court constantly, you won't enjoy it. But if you like hanging out with me and watching court, you'll probably think this is a really interesting hearing. So, I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek of that later. Beverly Bradford is here having shin ramen soup. Love it. Okay, so we're going to start off. First of all, here's the thing. You guys know I'm on the West Coast, which means the East Coast, if you think about it, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like if we say 8 o'clock is the earliest court call time, that's 5 my time. Sometimes I go to sleep until 5 o'clock. Okay. Sometimes I just give up the early morning cases. I'm like, they're not going to be my cases. Those aren't my cases. My cases are the afternoon cases. But I did get a little bit of something this morning from Judge Dude. Sometimes the gods smile on me and I'm able to download things. So, clock in for your shift by hitting that like button. Please. Larry and I are begging you. Beverly, it's a little bit spicy. I get that. But I love spicy. It's so good. Hayden Harris is here. BCM is here. Streamlabs. You're here too. Let's keep going. Oh, I gotta get off the screen and put them on the screen. Orlando Chicken. Donna, thank you for reminding me. Who's behind me? Thank you, Donna. And we've also found out that Donna is the gift giver of the um Minnie Mouse headset. Thank you so much, Donna. Honestly, my sister, you guys can't tell anybody because my sister's just a little bit pregnant, but she's pregnant. But I'll tell you guys because you won't tell anybody. She's pregnant. I'm so excited. So I was like, I'm being super nice to her, and I let her open this gift, and I was like, "Hey, sister, somebody sent this gift," and I let her open it, and she was like, "Wow," and I was just like, "It's lucky," and she was like, "It is," and I was like, "I love it so much." So thank you so much, Dawn. I appreciate that. And regardless if they appreciate it, they were like, "Well, where is it from?" I was like, "It's really hard to explain. It's from the biggest gas station in the world, and this is sort of their mascot. And no, I've never been there, but I've pined to go there." And Nana just walked in and gave me the dirtiest look. She was just like, "Okay, let's watch some corn." I love you guys. Okay,
Okay,
Judge
let me
Dude's
go and get the
arm looks
parties.
weird, like it's
Okay,
moving
let me get the
inappropriately.
petitioner.
Look at Hachette, member for 2 months. Big D, big D, big D. I love it. You're so awesome. Thank you, friend. They getting set up. My goodness. Oh, so yeah, guys, like this video because otherwise you're a dick.
We're trying to get all the parties on the case in the room. Give us just a moment to do that and we'll be ready to begin.
Okay. This whole situation is a clusterfuck. Could literally be defined as a clusterfuck. If you look up clusterfuck in the dictionary, it's going to have a picture of this coming hearing. Add me on Discord, Cachette, and I will explain the ways. Believe me, there's a way.
On. Sure, it's 5740.
Hold on, this is not even the fucking one I wanted to put on. Oh my goodness, hold on. Hold on. Wow. I did make a list today. I made a list. I was like, hey, make a list with you. But then I just wrote TPO times 3, which is not really a list. Okay. I swear to God. I wanted to start with the earliest one. So easy. Why can't I be organized? Because you have ADD. Because you have ADD. It's okay. It's a mental disorder. It's a mental disorder. How many times have we talked about my mental disorder? A lot of the people we watch have mental. No,
We're
see,
trying to
this is
get
the
all the
same
parties on the
one.
case in the room.
No, I want the one where people don't seem like that disorder.
day too.
It's not even this one. I'm so shit at my job. It's not even. If it's a job, I'm shit at it.
Talk to everybody, all of it.
Here we go.
And we're bringing a number of people into the room that are directly or indirectly connected to these matters that are pending before the court. Bear with us for a few moments while we work to make that happen. And when we do, we are, I'm going to talk to everybody all at once about my plan for how we're going to move through this. And I may have specific questions for some of you in case that affects, in case there are things I need to make sure you specifically understand or questions I need to ask you before we undertake all of this. So I think we're still waiting on one more. So give us just a moment.
Folks, if you're new here, Judge Dude does have jaundice. Please hit the like button to help him. He's
Okay, Judge, I
American. He needs help.
I have it.
I was expecting 4 and I see 4. I think we've got it. I'm going to keep all of you on mute for now. So that, because I get an echo or feedback or background noise that is my voice talking a fraction of a second after I've been saying things. So that is why I want to give everybody kind of a roadmap of how I intend to handle this and what I intend to handle to make sure we're all on the same page.
F in the chat for jaundice. F in the chat for jaundice.
Right now, there are a number of petitions on the calendar, including number 10, Taylor versus Chandler, 23 PO 5768. 18, Pates versus Chandler, 23 PO 5817. I've also got Chandler versus Pates, 23 PO 5964. There was an add-on. It wasn't on the printed calendar, but my understanding is there is also 23 PO 6041, Dexter versus Pates, and 6448, Pates versus Dexter. I don't think, I want to be clear about how I say this because I don't want it to sound dismissive. I don't think it's a good use of the court's time to be bringing back different combinations of you 2 or 3 or 4 times for me or my colleagues, like different judges on different, because we have different judges, different days, to be hearing different pieces of the puzzle. I think that the most effective use of
It's a puzzle, Judge, but thank you, Cachette. Here's an hour of American minimum wage plus tip. You do the work, it counts. Thank you, Cachette, my friend. You know what? You make me laugh so many times. I appreciate that so much. Jonathan Hart gifting a membership. Look at Marshmallow Dog Cat got a membership. It makes me so happy when people get memberships. I tied my hair back. I'm like, I got business to do. You guys are amazing. Let's keep watching this. Seriously, it goes on all day. We're gonna have such a good time. This is Bucky. Yeah, I got a Bucky in the mail today. My life is so happy. You guys make it so great. Thank you so much. And seriously, do you know what I do for $10? US? Dang. Thank you, Cachette. Thank you, Jonathan. Let's keep going. I'll pull myself into the bottom of the screen here. Fine, I'll be the bottom.
the court's time is that the 5, I think, petitions that I've rattled off, Taylor versus Chandler, Pates versus Chandler, Chandler versus Pates, Dexter versus Pates, Pates versus Dexter. That's 5 by my count. That we move forward today, that we handle these 5 petitions today, And what would be left pending, to the best of my knowledge, um, let me see if there's best. To the best of my knowledge, there are two petitions out there that involve someone who's not here today. They weren't given notice to be here today. There was no reason to think they should be here today. I don't think it's fair to those people, loop them in at a time they didn't expect to be looped in. So that is the one time where, to me, it makes sense to have a separate proceeding. Those other petitions for that other person who's not here, they were scheduled separate.
If you're just catching that, yeah, Judge Dude has like 5 different TPOs between these people to sort out. It's a nightmare. Clock in for your shift, please, guys. Make sure that you have your gifts turned on because this is the best community around town. We have so much court to watch tonight. We have this, and we also have a little something from Texas that I have a funny feeling nobody else got today. And that's okay. That's okay. That's my job, ladies and gentlemen.
And I think that's fine, given that the four of you are here, and at least some of these petitions were definitely scheduled or scheduled in different capacities. What I would like to do is to handle the 5 petitions that I rattled off as part of one hearing. And if anyone at the top, I want to make sure no one has any objection to that as a concept. And then once we have that out of the way, I'll explain to you what that will look like. So does anyone object to us handling the 5 petitions that I've identified a few moments ago? 3, 2, 1. All right, hearing none. So what's going to happen next, whenever you have petitions that go different directions or both ways against different people, sometimes it is a bit chaotic, or it would feel disorganized compared to what a regular one.
Yes, this is the first hearing of all. Allie B from Tennessee, my friend. I know there was like hearings all afternoon and evening on this, but this is the first one, which I found to be a little bit crazy. I know there was some iron throwing and stuff like that, but I got to tell you, this one was pretty crazy. Cachette has violated the like button and it's now threatening her with a TPO. Bucky, what are we gonna do? Is his name Bucky? I know the place is Bucky's. I want to visit there so bad. Um, Right, Bucky? Tell me about it. Tell me about it. This guy's crazy. That guy up there is crazy.
One-on-one single petition would look like. That's just the nature of the beast. But what makes the most sense to me, and I think is the best use of time, is for us to have a combined evidentiary record where we move through the evidence on these cases. Some things that we hear about might be relevant to 2 parties and not relevant to 2 other parties. Some things we hear about might be relevant to all 4 parties. But the general idea is that after 3 years of law school and 15 years as a lawyer, almost 16, that I can take enough notes and pay enough attention to sort all that out for us when we're done. And so that is what we're going to do. What will happen is that parties will testify. When each party gives their testimony and they're done, some of that testimony may be open-ended where they kind of have the floor. A lot of it will probably be guided by me asking questions about specific events. One of the things that is tougher about these types of hearings, if you're the petitioner and you filed paperwork, then I kind of know what to ask you about and can get you to focus in on a particular incident. If you're the respondent, I don't know what your response is because this isn't the type of court where you file a response in writing and then go to court and do it too. So sometimes the respondent has a little more leeway to tell me what they think they need to tell me because
Tupac is alive. Yes, Tupac is here. You busted a mirror and got 7 years. Bad luck, but your lawyer thinks he can get you 5. Damn, I got a lawyer who can get you 3. Call me, baby.
they're replying to both the things in the petition, but also that's their opportunity to offer additional evidence. When each person finishes their testimony, I will turn to each of you in sequence and ask if there are questions, additional questions that need to be posed to this witness. Use your best judgment in that regard. We're having this hearing because by and large, there's not an agreement as to what happened or who the problem is. And so if you think someone is the problem and you ask them a question, you have to think about whether that person is going to give you the answer you want or whether they're going to give you the answer they want to give. And there's a saying we have that there are 3 sides to every story: his side, her side, and the truth. And what that means is not that people come here and lie. Sometimes people do, but what it means is that 2 people can experience the same thing very differently. I can make a face or give a look to somebody and either not know I did it at all or do it with something on my mind. But you might see that face and interpret it to be something else. And if we had to give court testimony about it, we would tell 2 different sides of the very same event. And both of us would be telling the truth insofar as we were.
I just love Judge Dude, but look at the guy in the middle. I guess he's the sheriff or whatever who's sitting there like this. He's just like, Judge, are you fucking kidding me right now? But seriously, that is such, he's explaining it so perfectly. He's like, experiences are just that, experiential. And you might experience something completely different than somebody else might. Steffi B, who just got here, might experience the whole rest of this experience different than somebody else who's been here. But, every day I love Judge Dude more and more and more. He's such a good judicial official. I don't know why when things rhyme, it makes me happy, but judicial official.
We're honest about what we thought or remembered or experienced. And so think about, well, is it useful to ask this person the question, or would it be better to handle this through my own testimony? And so, for example, I'm going to start with Miss Taylor because her name is the first one on my calendar. When Miss Taylor is done, I'll say, Mr. Chandler, do you have questions? Miss Pates, do you have questions? Miss Dexter, do you have questions? And if there are things that you think need to be asked, that'll be your chance to ask them. And then the witness will step down, so to speak, and we'll move to the next witness. And so we'll move through everybody's testimony. I'll take notes as we go. And to the extent that I'm able to sort things out today, then I'll make rulings on the 5 petitions that we have outlined, and we'll be able to go from there. Mr. Chandler, are you, I can't tell if you're gesturing because you have a question. Sometimes I cramp up and I just need to move, yes, but I want to make sure. Go ahead.
The case is separate from other case.
Oh boy, that's some tough audio. Let me do this. Miss Dexter, your connection looks very smooth because I can see very subtle and small movements from you, which tells me you've got good Wi-Fi. Are you able to hear Mr. Chandler clearly?
I'm not able to hear him too clear.
Okay. So sometimes it's a me problem, and I always want to leave open the possibility that it's a me problem. But if 2 of us are not hearing Mr. Chandler clearly, we just need to give his connection a moment to catch back up. And when we
what
see
is
the
happening?
video start to smooth out and move a little clearer, then we'll know. And Miss Dexter, thank you for that check-in. All right. The other part of this that I'll go ahead and tell you is I'm going to do the best I can to keep everybody on my screen at one time. But what that means is that your screens are very small. And so because I have about 5 members of my court team, I have me and I have the 4 of you. And so it's a lot of faces. So there may be some things that I miss if something should arise. So, Mr. Chandler, I'm hoping your connection is a little better. Can you try me again with that comment or question that you had a moment ago?
Yes, sir. The case that I have with Miss Taylor is a separate case. That have nothing to do with the other case.
Okay. Well, let me ask this, Miss Pates and Miss Dexter, do you agree with Mr. Chandler's statement in that regard, in terms of the incidents, the issues that are between the two of them, they don't overlap with the issues that involve the two of you, Miss Pates?
Correct. It doesn't involve any.
And Miss Dexter, you don't have a case with Mr. Chandler, like in the sense that you two are on opposite sides anyway. Okay. So then here, this will be the order of operations. I will handle that one as a standalone.
Okay.
And then we will move. And so what will happen is Miss Pates, Miss Dexter, you will both just be in the waiting room as we tend to that matter. When it is time to handle the remaining 4 petitions, Dexter versus Pates, Pates versus Dexter, Pates versus Chandler, Chandler versus Pates, then the 5 of us will be back in here and carry on similar to the manner that I outlined earlier. Ms. Pates, does that work for you?
I think that would work. I would like to hear the case to see if there's any experience.
Well, I will say this. The best way I can explain it to you is one of these people could be Al Capone, but unless they're doing stuff to you, it doesn't entitle you to a protective order against them. So it could be the scariest man in the world, but protective orders issue or fail to issue based on your particular interactions with this person. And so if you were a part of an incident, well, if Ms. Taylor was part of an incident or present for an incident where you were harmed, I feel like you should already know that. And if you were present for an issue where Ms. Taylor was harmed, that's still not grounds for you to get a protective order against that party because you weren't the person who was harmed. So I think it works out either way. If she needs you to testify about a particular incident, then she will let us know and we will bring you in from the waiting room. So for now, I will place Ms. Dexter and Ms. Pates in the waiting room, and I will get the paperwork pulled up for position 10, and that is where we will start today before we go into the joint hearing for the remaining petitions.
Now listen, a better YouTuber than me probably would have cut all of that. They would have said, oh, these viewers don't need to know that. They just want to start at the meat. But I think it's important that you know that there are 6 other TPOs pending, randomly strewn about this whole fucking docket. And so that is why we have watched that part. The rest of this TPO is going to be a little odd. I hope you guys enjoy. Honestly, I feel bad for Judge Dude too. I really hope they have a good fucking work, like whatever you call it in the US. In Canada, we would call it like a insurance plan where you got like good benefits. We would say, "Oh, you got good benefits. Your benefits are great." That's what we would say. Even though we all get like base benefits, like y'all, nobody's going broke from the hospital, but still we'd be like, "Ooh, nice benefits." YouTube Daddy, 0 benefits. 0. Melody Bird, I know. I want to try the beaver nuggets from Bucky's so bad.
All right, position 10 on the calendar, 23PO 5768, Taylor versus Chandler. I'm going to go ahead and ask you both to unmute and please raise your right hands for me. You swear or affirm that the statements you make today will be the truth under penalty of perjury.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you both. You can put your. All right, Ms. Taylor, it is your petition and you have the burden of proof. That burden is simply more likely than not. And I'll have some specific questions to kind of guide us through this process. The respondent is a DeKalb County resident, to the best of your knowledge. And I'll just say at the O'Hara address. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. You said that this person is someone that you used to live with. When is the last time that you lived with him?
September of last year.
Okay. And you also indicated your present or past spouses. Are you two still married?
No, we're divorced.
And when was that finalized?
February of 21.
Okay. And prior to the filing of this petition, June 21st, 2023, were there any court orders or provisions in effect prohibiting him from having contact with you?
No, I tried having him served, but he never got served.
Okay. And you said that he was on your property on or about June 17th. Is that right?
Correct.
What happened on that day?
I wasn't home, but he came to the house and he threw stuff in my yard, cussing me out, telling me I'm a bitch and all this other crap about how I threw trash in his child's clothing.
Say the last part again.
He said I threw trash in his daughter's clothing.
Okay. Sometimes I have to ask questions that have an obvious answer, but if you weren't there, how do you know that that's what happened?
Because it was on my Ring camera that I sent to the clerk.
Okay. We'll circle back to that. And you live outside DeKalb County at a different location, correct?
Correct.
All right. And was there an incident where there have been threats made toward you or your family?
Yes, I have had to call Henry County several times on him.
Okay. And so tell me about the incident at the end of April.
In April, he had came by my house. My son was outside taking out the trash. And that's when he started yelling about how he was going to kill us both and that bitches need to die and snitches. And he tried to run my son over with his truck. My son had to jump out the street. So I had to call the cops then too for him.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Well, hold on 1 second. I may have just missed something there. Jonathan, gifting more memberships. Thank you so much. But did she just say bitches get snitches or snitches get stitches? Let's just go back just a little bit and see if that's what was happening. Also, Mario Bell, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. We are having a great evening so far. This just got a little bit serious though. It escalated quickly. Let's see what's happening.
At my house, my son was outside taking out the trash. And that's when he started yelling about how he was going to kill us both and that bitches need to die and snitches. And he tried to run my son over with his truck. My son had to jump out the street. So I had to call the cops then too for him.
And how old is your son?
He's 23 now.
Okay. So he's an adult, not a minor.
Correct.
And is that, was any of that incident recorded?
No, because he was on the other side of the camera.
Okay. Were you present for any of that incident?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
I was on the other side of the on the porch, but he was on the other side of the street, so it was dark, so he didn't see me, but I could see him.
All right. And was there a time prior to that where he was arrested for crimes against you?
And my son. He tried he had choked my son out. So he had gotten a felony for battery.
And that was around 2016?
Correct.
Okay. Has he been arrested for any crimes against you since then?
The cops were called.
Okay. You didn't see him get put in handcuffs or go to court or anything?
No.
Okay. And there's an incident that's outlined from September of 2022. Was this as you two were splitting up, like right before you moved out, essentially?
Correct.
Okay. And so he was permitted, he didn't break into the home. He was permitted to be in the home because you two were still together, but that's when that incident took place.
Right. We weren't together, but he was in the process of moving out.
Living together. I mean, my apologies.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you reference him getting a fire.
Hold on. Thank you, Tupac, so much for that. You are awesome. I'm glad that you're feeling a little bit better. I want your lawyer to work on a better deal for you, though. Um, Dang, guys, this be crazy. This is crazy already. My brain was like, my brain's thinking of something else, and I don't know what it is now. You know how that works. So in a minute, when I remember what I was thinking of too, I'll say that.
Firearm in that incident. What kind of firearm was it?
It was a 22.
Okay, so like a handgun.
Yes, sir.
All right. Um,
Oh, this guy looks like he has a halo. This guy looks like he has a halo on his head. Look at it. That was what was pressing on my mind. Could not remember. Allie B from Tennessee for the sexy heels fun, babe. Oh, I'm going to Florida and I am going to wear some sexy ass heels there, girl. Thank you so much. That's exciting. Thank you.
Mr. Chandler, do you have questions for this witness at this time?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Hold on. Do we think he'll actually ask a question? Is the question, right? Like nobody knows how to ask a question. I know how to ask a question. Is Allie B awesome? Yes. Is Tupac awesome? Yes. Those are questions. They have answers. Those are great answers. Okay. Do we think he will have a question with an answer? I don't think so. Let's see though.
What do you believe the court still needs to ask? Keeping in mind, you'll have your own opportunity to give testimony as well.
On June 17th, who put the garbage inside my daughter's clothes?
Okay, if you stop there, sir, that is in fact a question. I will be wrong. I will owe you a little bit of a booby dance, sir. If you stop. Can you stop? Are you able? Will you?
My daughter was already out of her house. She gave someone the clothes to give me. She cleaned the room up, put nasty pads inside the clothes, tampons, fake hair, dirty plates and cups, put them in my daughter's clothes to give to me. I'm not.
So let me unpack this because you two are talking about an incident and some background that I'm not privy to at all. So let me start by asking Miss Taylor this. Was he supposed to retrieve or receive some of his daughter's clothing from you on the 17th?
Yes. Well, not on the 17th. I don't think that was June 17th when he picked her clothes up. That was
it
when,
close in time to that?
no, it had been over. What he's talking about, his daughter was living with me, obviously. He took her out of school in April and sent her to Indiana to live. I did not clean up her room. He said he was coming to get her stuff. I told my son to get everything together and put it downstairs in the garage. The pads, she had them under the mattress. My son just scooped everything together, threw them in a bag, and took them downstairs. The cops were there when he came to retrieve her stuff. I didn't give anyone her stuff. The cops was there when he got her stuff. So him saying that I gave her stuff, I put garbage in there and gave it to someone to give to him, I did not. The cops was right there when he took everything out of the garage.
That's
Okay,
a lie,
so
my
your rough synopsis, Miss Taylor, is that your son gathered the belongings and did any other cleanup that went on in that room, not you.
Correct.
And that whatever was handed over pursuant to however he assembled it or bagged it up.
Correct.
Okay, so Mr. Chandler, that is her answer to that. What follow-up questions, if any, do you have based on that answer?
She gave the neighbor the stuff to give me. She told, I called a friend, which is my daughter.
Hang on, let me stop you here. first off, your audio is not great. But second, I could tell that that was not a question. Your chance to make a statement will come shortly, but it has to start with questions for her for now. And when we're done with questions for her, you'll have a chance to make any statements based on your beliefs and knowledge and experiences.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so do you have other questions for now?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Ms. Taylor, did you have anybody else you intended to have testify in regards to these matters today?
No, sir.
Okay. So, Mr. Chandler, you have been sworn in. This is your opportunity to give testimony.
Okay, this is his turn. This is his time. This is it. Remember, this guy has like 6 TPOs involving him. It's crazy. Also, guys, clock in for your shift, please. YouTube Daddy and we're working out our kinks. I have a lot more kinks than YouTube Daddy has.
About any or all of the things that you've heard the petitioner testify about, or any other matters that have not yet been brought up. What would you like to tell us today?
Yes, I did dump the garbage that she gave the neighbor to give me. Yes, I took it back to her house and dumped it at her front door because it was the garbage she sent to me. When she said about I harassed her son, I was on in the subdivision by a friend of mine. Her son was walking with another guy. He started dropping words to me and calling me names. Yes, I got out my truck. He had a gun. I went to Henry County Police and I put a complaint against him. She know about the complaint when I sent the case number to her friend and tell her friend to tell him to leave me alone. I don't trouble this girl. I was at a cookout. I was at a cookout 4th of July weekend. She wants to know where I at. Don't worry about where I at. I don't mess with Miss Taylor. I don't call Miss Taylor. I don't go around Miss Taylor's house. I have nothing to do with Miss Taylor. I move on with my life. Her son harassed me, and I answer him back. When Miss Taylor talk about the gun, my honor, there wasn't no gun involved with me and Miss Taylor. When Miss Taylor said about, I said all women need to be dead, that is not true. What I said, the best woman is a dead woman because she dead, and you don't have to.
What? Sir, we're gonna have to go back. You guys. I was texting. I'm gonna be honest right now. I was texting somebody else. It's not that you all aren't important to me, but I was texting somebody else. And I may have texted something a little bit spicy, and it's okay. I was not expecting to hear that. We need to go back so I can properly pay attention. And I need to put away my spicy text.
There wasn't no gun involved with me and Miss Taylor. When Miss Taylor said about, I said all women need to be dead, that is not true. What I said, the best woman is a dead woman because she dead, and you don't have to worry about she cheating on you. That's what I said.
Do you understand how somebody might reasonably construe that as a threat?
No, because I look at it this way. If I'm dating somebody and she dead, I don't got to worry about her cheating on me. She already dead. I didn't look at it as a threat.
How do they get that way?
Because she dead, and I don't got to worry about she cheating on me anymore.
Does that change at all? My daughter just come in to ask me something immediately this is climax period of this video, my darling. You cannot interrupt me right now. This guy just said, dead women don't cheat. What do you have to say about that? What do you think? What should I respond? Water? Sure. Yeah, you can have a glass of water.
If I'm dating somebody to worry about she cheating on you, that's what I say.
Do you understand how somebody might reasonably construe that as a threat?
No, no, because I look at it this way. If I'm dating somebody and she dead, I don't gotta worry about her cheating on me. She already dead. I didn't look at it as a threat
How do they get that way?
because she dead, and I don't gotta worry about she cheating on me anymore. She
You're
could dead
saying
from
dead,
anything.
DEAD.
She could be dead from cancer, anything. That's how I look at it.
Okay. Do you understand how somebody else might look at that differently?
Well, I know she had a problem with it. We was living together. I know she had a problem with it. But for me, it wasn't a threat.
I'm not sure this guy quite understands the situation, the crowd, if you will, the audience that he's going for. Chris is here. First of all, Chris, you make me laugh so much with your shorts from your podcast. I think I've watched that one where you asked about Baltimore like 56 times over and over again. Um, Secondly, my daughter is like asking me for shit, but I'm like, listen to this. Are you listening to this? This is crazy. That's not a normal thing to say to a judge. Like, why would you say that? Oh, Chris, normally women laugh at what's in your shorts. Wrong women.
It was just a word.
Okay. All right. Ms. Taylor, I forgot to circle back to your exhibit. Let me ask, Madam Clerk, were we able to receive and process the ring videos? I know they're sometimes challenging with the file sizes.
Right, we did not receive the video.
Okay. I don't think that's really at the, I think that's fine under the circumstances. So, all right. Mr. Chandler, you've had a chance to testify today. Is there anything that you still wanted to tell us or that I have not thought to ask you about?
Sir, my honor, I admit to my actions about the garbage. I admit to that. But when it comes to you saying that I pull a gun on you and you say threaten you and your son, nothing so never happened. It was two times that I took stuff back to her house. First time it was her son, some stuff concerned her son in a basket. The second time is when I collect the bag from the neighborhood, from the neighbor next door to her, because me and him is good friends. That she was giving the stuff to give me.
Hmm. Are we just gonna, we're just gonna have to go back. I just didn't understand. I didn't understand. I didn't understand. He did not say that he just collected trash from around the neighborhood and then deposited it back at her place, right? Like we just have to go back. It's unfortunate. Normally we don't have to do this. Normally people in chat are on this, but we're gonna have to go back about 40 seconds here while we watch this. Guys, if you're just getting here, please go ahead and clock in for a shift. Sashina's husband, welcome to the show. Looks like she's basking in your comments. Yes, Sashina's husband. There's a reason I put myself out on the internet all the time. It's for immediate gratification. It's how I work best. That and sexual harassment, which is why I get fired a lot.
To testify today, is there anything that you still wanted to tell us or that I have not thought to ask you about?
Sir, my honor, I admit to my actions about the garbage. I admit to that. But when it comes to you saying that I pull a gun on you and you say threaten you and your son, nothing so never happened. It was two times. It was two times that I took stuff back to her house. First time it was her son, some stuff concerned her son in a basket. The second time is when I collect the bag from the neighborhood, from the neighbor next door to her, because me and him is good friends. That she was giving the stuff to give me from him, and I took it and I went close. It was all garbage. That you clean the room.
Jonathan, yes! Instant gratification. You don't know. The only problem with that is that I have to wait about a month to get it from YouTube Daddy, but I still literally, it almost made me come a little bit. Shh, don't tell. Thank you.
And you just sweep up the garbage and you put it in my daughter's clothes. You know what she was doing. Her son didn't do that. She know what she was doing. I admit to that. Yes, I admit to that. But
It
I'm
seems
not
like a
going
little
to,
bit of an odd conclusion to draw when you were talking earlier about having issues in front of the house with the son, because he's shown if your testimony about that version of the events is believed or considered, then it tells me that this person is willing to do things to get back at you or your family. And so what makes you so sure that it was the petitioner?
when I moved my daughter out of her house, she had a problem with her moving my daughter. Then when I got the bag of the clothes, and I called her friends and I asked her friends why she did that. She admitted to one of her friends about my daughter having pads, dirty pads and stuff in there. Okay, if she had dirty pads in there, the only thing you had to do is put them in the garbage. Why put them in her clothes?
I'm trying to be sexy. Like, I'm trying to go like a budget slash free OnlyFans vibe here, dude. You're talking about dirty pads? Do you know how much money that is worth? Way more than free.
Why put dirty plates in her clothes? Why do that? But when you do that, you know what you're doing. Because like if you wipe down top of a dress or top of a shelf and you got dust. You see the
Let
clothes
me
and all
jump
the
in
dust.
here, because I guess specifically what I'm asking you is what leads you to conclude that it was definitely, you seem very sure that it was her and not her son. So what is it that makes you feel that?
It wasn't her son. It was her that did all of that because she admit to it that she did it.
To whom was that admitted?
She admit to her girlfriend Sharifa that she did it, that she talked to my daughter about it before, and my
And
daughter
how did you find out that she admitted it to Sharifa?
because I called Sharifa and I told Sharifa, why did Carrie did this to Deja? Sharifa told me, Carrie said that she spoke to Deja about leaving pads and plates and stuff upstairs before, and she keep doing it. Okay, if she keep doing it,
Well, I don't really know how many layers of hearsay we're into at this point. We're playing the telephone game like we used to. And
Yeah, people in court. Welcome, friend. I'm glad you're here. Um, I actually think it is something gross, but it is triple hearsay, so we don't need to worry about it. Uh, again, I don't know even what to say at this point. I don't even know what to say. Also, I don't, I have an IUD and I don't get a period. So this is way out of my league.
I guess not even elementary school, but
and I say to Sharifa, I say, listen, just do me a favor. Tell Carrie to leave me alone. And don't bother Carrie. I don't ask nobody about carrying. I don't concern about carrying. When I saw carrying
Well,
on the Liberty on the other day, I didn't say nothing to carry in. I keep my distance.
all right, Mr. Chandler, do you have any other witnesses you intend to call?
No, I don't have no witness, sir.
Okay. So here's what I can say. The issue of the trash, no pun intended, is enough of a mess that I'd just rather put it aside. It's I understand how everybody feels the way that they feel. Maybe it was done from a standpoint of
Anger.
with ill intent if it was sent back to you and your family, Mr. Chandler. But the other part of that is if things have been thrown away that weren't supposed to be, then we would be here with you and your family upset about it. And so that's one of those situations to me where everybody's kind of poking at everybody. I still think that the petitioner has met their burden for the.
Whoa! He just left a fucking bombshell. He thinks they've met their burden. PIC, People in Court, a great friend of the channel, is saying, bruh, sing my comment. Well, write it again, bitch. I can't be scrolling. Objection, hearsay. Oh my god, I don't have a case. Objection, hearsay. That's what you get when you just ask for that out of the blue.
Extension of this order. And what I will say is this, Mr. Chandler, those comments are real concerning. And I don't understand.
Yeah, I double that. Those comments are extremely concerning. When you were like, yeah, a bitch is better off dead than alive because I know she ain't cheating. That don't fly in court, dude. No. No.
Understand how any woman, anywhere, in any situation could hear, you're talking specifically in the context of someone who is your partner, and you're saying it would be better if you were dead because then I wouldn't have to worry about cheating on you. First off, the idea that somebody's life is less important than whether or not they engage in another relationship, that's kind of messed up. Second, I don't know how someone doesn't take that as a threat. I understand people can die a lot of ways, but many of those ways are intentional. There are a lot of people that are making pretty good money making podcasts about it every day, and TV shows and movies and everything else. It is the kind of thing that is said, and I don't know how it could have any effect on the listener other than to spark fear and to allow you to control that person. And it's deeply alarming. And so I'm going to extend the order and require you to have no contact with Miss Taylor and intend and complete the family violence intervention program. Mr. Ellis, are you back with us? I know you may not be, and that's fine. We have certain information. It's basically probably just going to be a phone number and an email address, Mr. Chandler, that we are going to have to collect from you before you leave for good today. And we will forward it to our compliance officer. He has had an emergency and had to step away. But we will get that. Actually, I tell you what we'll do. Ms. Goodman, are you able to get that in a breakout room with Mr. Chandler before we start the next hearing? And then that'll give me time to refill my water glass so I don't start coughing.
Yeah, we could do that, Judge.
Okay. Ms. Taylor, do you have any knowledge about any of the issues between these other parties that are here? All right.
No, sir.
I think for you, that's a good answer. In that case, you have concluded your business with the court for today, and you are free to log off.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Peace out, A-Town, we said to him. But then we said, hey, kid, did you do any more work today? And I said, yeah, I did. I worked a little harder today, and I got a bunch more court for us to watch. But I'm not organized, so it's not like I can pull it up right away. Hold on. Give me one second. Pull the curtain, as I call it. I'll pull the curtain. And then I will look. At the meantime, I'm gonna plug the Troyalty podcast, which is a friend of the channel. I'll be so bold as to say. I'm trying to think of your podcast makes me laugh all the time, Chris. But I'm also trying to pull
And he
at
can
the same time. I'm
he can
not as
testify,
good
or
at
do we
it
have
as
to go
Were they
into
present the
Mikey
witness?
is, as faking doing nothing while he's doing something. Oh my gosh. Also, I live in Canada. It's very hot here. Please go ahead and send me a breath of fresh air. Every I don't know how you're gonna do it. Just send me some fresh air. Bucky, how do I get fresh air? Do you sell that in the Bucky's? I heard it's the biggest gas station in the world. I want to go there so I want a brisket. Why is that what I want?
Violent. This case number.
Oh my god, this one in double speed. We gotta slow this shit down. That means you guys gotta tell me when it gets fast again. That's your job. Bucky's pulled pork is great. Is there a Bucky's near Orlando? Like when I go to Florida in September, am I gonna be able to go to Bucky's? Or is that gonna be a crazy trip for me? Because I'm not really sure I care. I'm gonna do it. Isn't that right, Bucky?
Of the case numbers on those 4 petitions. And so we're going to do this roughly as follows. I'll start with her and I'll hear her testimony regarding any of these matters that she wishes to offer. Mr. Chandler, your name is on the paperwork next. So I'll ask you if you have any questions that need to be asked of her.
Just before we get going, this is the same dude. Oh, an hour, maybe an hour 30 north of Orlando. Bucky, we're going to Bucky's. I'm so excited. Oh my fucking god. No, seriously, that's like nothing in Canada. That's so exciting. But remember, we've seen these people before. Doesn't this look a little bit like familiar? Like, oh, this gentleman right over here just told me that he prefers his women dead than alive and cheating. Yes, it is the same gentleman as before. Let's see where we go. It's crazy. He is in all of the cases today. He's in all of the cases like you're in.
And then I'll ask Ms. Dexter the same. Mr. Chandler, I will then turn to you to testify. When you're done, I'll ask Ms. Pates and Ms. Dexter if either of them have questions that they think I need to ask of you. And then Ms. Dexter, you will testify third, where I will then offer Ms. Pates and Mr. Chandler a chance to suggest questions for you after you're done giving the testimony you wish to give. Does anybody have any other witnesses who they intend to call to testify besides the three of you that are here in this room right now? And if so, you can unmute and let me know.
Can we call someone? Because I actually have a landlord regarding the situation. I can get him on the phone and he can testify, or do he have to go
Were
into
they
this?
present to witness alleged acts of violence?
Also, I'm
Yes, he
present,
was
and my name is
present
Bucky.
when she said certain things, but it wasn't physical violence.
Okay, I doubt that testimony does not sound relevant, even if they were here. But if there's someone who you think needs to log on the Zoom, I'm happy, and that goes for anybody. You're happy to give them the Zoom room and password, and we'll hear what they have to say. But the decision that I have to make from a legal standpoint There are a list of things that are defined as family violence under Georgia law. It's not just physical violence. It includes felonies, trespasses, stalking, and then the things we conventionally think of as physical violence. And that pretty much covers the list. I have to decide that it is more likely than not that one or more of those acts have been committed and that this order may prevent that from happening in the future. And I have to make that decision 3 separate times, 4 separate times, for the various combinations of the case filings that we have here. And so each case, even though we will hear the evidence as one, each case is essentially decided on its own merits individually based on what information I need to pull from.
You guys, the judge is talking. The judge has been talking for like 3 minutes. I've obviously been listening the entire time, me and Bucky, not dancing, listening. I said not dancing, we were listening. Um, just pay attention, guys. Just pay attention.
The various testimony we collect today. So, Ms. Pates and Mr. Chandler, you're the only person who has been sworn in so far. So I need to ask Ms. Pates and Ms. Dexter to both raise your right hands and unmute for me. Do you swear any statements you make to the court today will be the truth under penalty of perjury? If so, please say I do.
I do.
Absolutely.
I do.
All right, thank you. You can put your hands down. Ms. Dexter, I'm going to place you on mute just to cut down on background noise as needed. Ms. Pates, we are going to begin with you. At the time of you first seeking protective orders, were you residing with Ms. Dexter and Mr. Chandler at a location in DeKalb County?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Pates, your audio is
I've
very
only lost
choppy. It's a little
subscribers
bit
over the
like
last day, so thank you, Sarah.
pass-through box has been busted, is the best way I can describe it. But one moment.
It's their sound, not me.
So, Ms. Pates, I'm getting some static and also some other noise, which could be like you typing or something, maybe depending on what kind of device you're on. It seems to have stopped at the moment. So you had an issue with Miss Dexter on the 14th, or on or about the 14th of June. Is that correct?
That is correct. It actually started before then.
What, lady?
Sent over a check message to you, and you did an audio with my phone number, sir.
Miss Pates, I'm having a lot of trouble understanding any more than bits and pieces. It sounds very low and staticky. I mean, it's almost like what kind of device are you on, Miss Pates?
I'm using a Chromebook.
Okay. So what is the tapping or clicking that I'm hearing?
I'm typing you a message in a chat. You.
I don't want to do the chat because I don't believe there's a way to do the chat where everybody can see. So I have some concerns about that.
What is she running this from her
All
cricket
right,
farm?
so Ms. Pates, I understand these issues have been ongoing with Ms. Dexter. In your petition, the first incident you described is on or about June 2nd. Is that right?
Yes.
And you said that you were hit with a cup on that day. How did that happen?
Yes, sir. I was asked to interviewing Miss Dexter for a roommate, and that was the last week of May. He decided to let her know my judgment was that something
What is she saying? I swear to God, that is not Canadian internet. That's her.
right person. So, 20th and the 29th, the 30th of May to accommodate her some of the new supervisor job Sam at the time. So it was very inconvenient, but I did it so that she could put it in.
All right, let me pause you here, Ms. Pates. Hang on. Miss George, is this going the same way for you that it's going for me? And I'm guessing the same way it's going for Miss Dexter and Mr. Chandler based on the faces I'm seeing?
Yes, it is choppy, Judge.
Okay. My gut feeling is that that it's an issue of the microphone on this device, that it's not a connection issue, that it's a device issue. And the reason I say that is the type of garbled static kind of sound that is accompanying the stuff you say. It just seems more like that. Like with a connection issue, it would just drop off entirely, and that's not what's happening. You're with us steadily. It's just not clear. So does your phone have data? So I think your phone should be able to join the Zoom with the same room number and password you used to join on the laptop. And then if that works, we'll just remove the Chromebook.
It was a Chromebook? Oh my God. Tech help is serious. It's like real part of why judges don't want to do online court in the long term. And I've actually developed a program to counteract that. Allie B from Tennessee. Although nobody wants to listen to me, but it's a simple 5-step process towards getting people to participate better and to have less technical issues in Zoom court. We can't hear anything at all, Al, so we can make fun of not hearing anything. That's what we'll start by making fun of, and then we'll move on from there. Get inspired, my friend. Think outside the box.
Miss Pates, what are you typing on the Chromebook?
I'm trying to send you a message to see if you can send the movie to another email. This is a new phone because Miss Dexter broke both my phones this past Saturday. And I don't have it set up completely.
Are you saying that you don't have another device to be able to log on? Was that a no or an I don't know?
My new phone, I can't access the Outlook email account where the Zoom is.
Here's the last thing I'm going to say. If you're not here for this, you have to understand something then. You're not actually here for real court. You're just a fucking, there for the road trip kind of guy. And that's okay. This is not what this channel is. This channel is fucking deep court, where we watch Judge Dude have to sit through this because he has to. We're going to in solidarity for him. Okay? I've already said I have a solution. Nobody seems to care about that. But we'll get there. People in court, can you tell my absolute don't tell, but just say how genius I am about my idea about our family wizard too? Yes.
Phone that has Zoom on it. All right. Let me turn to my court team here. In the interest of troubleshooting this, we have another, what I suspect is a much shorter case that is ready for a hearing. I am open to creative problem solving here. So it might be a
Judge? My name is Kitchen Court Cases. I'm from Canada, but I specialize in creative problem solving. I would love to set up a time for you and I to talk to make your life better. Can we do that? I'd love to do that.
I don't believe you're allowed to dial into these types of calls by phone, is my recollection.
If we creating a dial-in judge would we would lose our breakout rooms. I don't know why they can't coexist, but that's what that is.
Yeah. So that might not be it, but there might be something else that can be figured out about whether a device can be, called in over data or whatever. We're all here. Everybody knows who everybody is. I'm not, we can have a talk if we need to about, bending on the quality of the video connection if we're able to hear clearly. But I really think the type of static and then the noise, the feedback that we're getting when she tries to type, it tells me that the issue is tied up in the Chromebook, is what I think. That's my guess. I could be wrong. So I think if somebody is willing to volunteer to go to the breakout room in Miss Pates and try to figure out either how to improve that situation or make an alternative arrangement, then we can try that. I'll take a brief pause on this hearing to handle number 4. And then once we take care of number 4, we can jump right back in with this, since we really weren't able to get started in any notable way.
Okay, Judge. I want to break our room. But I'll bring the parties up before I speak to Miss Pates.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're number 4, Martin versus Tomlin, I think was the one Mr. Burke had ready.
Mm-hmm.
I'm mostly
Ms. Pates, I'm
perplexed
gonna
about
start
what's
pushing
coming
breakout
next and a
room.
little
I'll be
bit
here in a
concerned.
second, okay?
I'm going to pull the curtain while I determine what I did or didn't do.
Okay, I'm bringing out the parties in 4 now.
Because this court is notorious for cutting streams. Like, I was always it goes into whatever I'm like. So at nighttime, I watch weird things. And then during the daytime, I watch court. And so sometimes it'll start into like a safari video that's pretty not relevant. This one is like just sticking with Judge, which is a little weird. I'll put it
I
back
gotta
up.
go get them. I'll be back.
She'll want to get them. Nothing she ever does. I know her first and last name. I'm not even going to call her out. I love her so much. This lady hates me. We don't talk. She don't know me, but I know her. I respect her and her court clerk job. Judge, dude, you look like you had a rough night again. Like, either it's the lighting or there's something going on with you. And either way, I want to help you. I'm using all natural lighting right now, but that will change shortly. You can see it shifting over my beautiful body. So please go ahead and take this time to go ahead and clock in for your shift. Hector, thank you for coming. Allie, I don't know who this lady is. I don't know. She is the petitioner.
All
She's a
right, we're having to
petitioner.
retrieve each party individually from the breakout room. Give us just a moment. Once we do that, we'll be able to begin with your case.
You sent me emails today, Hector? Oh, I wish I was good at checking my email. Did you? I'll check it soon. I'm so bad at checking my email. Can I get an email checker? Are you volunteering, Courtney?
Okay, Judge, we're ready.
I might have
All
missed
right,
some,
this
Hector.
is position 4 on the calendar. Martin versus Tomlin. We are.
Thank you so
going to
much.
begin with
Sometimes
the hearing, and it will go roughly as follows. It's the petitioner's case and burden of proof. She will go first. I will swear her in, hear testimony, and then it will be a chance for the respondent to suggest questions if there are other things that have not been addressed. After that, the respondent has a chance to testify if they wish to testify. If either party has any witnesses they intend to call, they may do so at the conclusion of their own testimony, and then they'll also be subject to questioning by the other side. So, Ms. Martin, we're going to start with you. I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand for me and unmute. Do you swear any statements you make today will be the truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. You can put your hand down. You filed your petition, and it says that the respondent is a DeKalb County resident to the best of your knowledge, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that was a yes?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. And you two share children together?
Yes.
All right. Have you two ever lived together?
Yes.
When was the last time that was true?
That we lived together?
Yes.
The last time we lived together, that was in May.
Okay, so a couple months ago?
Mm.
Is there property that still needs to be exchanged or retrieved by either one of you for the other?
I still have some of his belongings, like clothing and stuff.
Okay. Is he the one that moved out from the shared home?
Well, the home that we shared together, we ended up losing. And we stayed, just with family members since there.
So you were in a place together, and then since then have gone your separate directions.
We kind of just, bounced around together.
All right. Now this is, you said that you two had, let me ask it this way. When is the last time that he was physically violent toward you? Hitting, pushing, kicking, shoving, things like that.
Well, March. I think it was March. Yeah, March.
My birthday's in
When we was at
March.
a family house retrieving work equipment.
And what happened?
He was supposed to go in to get my work equipment, and I guess when he was inside the home, that's when he I guess he kind of got into, like a altercation, not a physical altercation, with his mom or his cousin or somebody. And he wanted me to get out of the car to come in, to, I guess, to come tell them about the laptop or whatever. And I didn't want to get out the car. And, he proceeded to try to pull me out the car, and he punched me, and he jerked me out of the car, and he rolled off with my car.
Okay, so he got you out of the car and then he left in the vehicle?
Yes.
Did you have any injuries from any part of that?
No.
And you think that happened around March?
Yeah.
All right. And you describe an incident in your petition in May. Saying that he made threats to you. Tell me about that.
That was like the just the final straw. And I'm not trying to make him out to look like a bad person, but it's just I had to just put things in order in place for myself. And I really hate that we kind of got to this situation, but in May it was, that was like the last end of it. And we was at my aunt's house, and it was us breaking up. It was just like we was kind of arguing back and forth. And he was asked to leave, and he left. And then after that, once he left, it was, he was just calling and just told me that he was going to shoot me. And, it was, I tried to call everybody. I tried to get, before it got to the TPO situation, I tried to ask for help from his family member. And I hate that it had to come to this point. And I didn't want it to come to this point. But I got to protect myself at the end of the day. And I'm not trying to be a bad person. And I open up the door for him to see his kids. And I want to take the kids off. I'm not doing it for him. I'm not doing it for myself. I'm doing it for my kids. Because, my son, he's 4, and he asks for his dad. And that's kind of heartbreaking for me because, I'm not trying to keep him from his kids. And I hate that we got to go through this situation. But
excuse me, am I able to say something right? Because I'm kind of most.
This isn't the time for that. This is why I explained the order of the proceeding. She goes through all of her testimony. She'll have a chance.
I understand it, Robert.
Not sure what happened there. All right. So, ma'am, what I wasn't quite getting, what was the actual threats that were being made in the incident in May?
Basically, what he was gonna do to me, when I come outside, he's out. I'm gonna be outside, and he was calling to the kids' school, and just making false allegations, and just saying like he gonna beat me up. Then he did tell me that he was gonna shoot me.
And that was on a phone call with you?
Yes.
Was there anyone else present for that or who overheard that?
No. It was other people present, but it wasn't like on speakerphone.
It wasn't like you were on speak. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Any other things that I should have asked you about and haven't thought to ask yet?
No, I mean, I'm not trying to, I don't want to, put anybody behind bars or anything. That's not my intent. It's not, I'm opening up the door for him to see his kid. That was never my intention for the kids, to keep the kids from him, I just want it to be where, my kids are in a safe environment, and I don't know. I'm not trying. I just want to remain on it myself, and I'm just putting things in order because, the first time it was kind of a facade, and once the TPO went away, the behavior came back, and I don't want to set myself up to where we're back in the same situation, and
Yeah, I think I forgot to ask this before. You two were never married, correct?
Yes, we are.
You are married?
Yes.
Okay. I missed that. I guess that checkbox wasn't checked. Okay, very good. That's helpful. All right. Sir, forgive me for coughing. You'll have a chance to testify momentarily. But before we get there, do you have any questions that you think I should ask this witness? And I think there's a button you need to click to unmute. It looks like we lost your video and audio for a minute, but when you come back, there you go.
What'd you say, sir?
Okay. So this is your chance first to ask questions. If there are questions you think I need to ask her, you can make suggestions in that regard, and I'll ask them if I think that's all right. And then right after that, you'll have your opportunity to testify or make any statements you wish to make. Do you have any questions for her before we move on with the case?
Like I've been doing since she took it out. I've been following by what she wanted. You know what I'm saying? She wanted me to leave. I followed by all that. You know what I'm saying?
Hang on.
Yeah,
so hang on. Are we moving into statement territory and moving past the questions?
All right. Oh, bro. Hello.
I'm here.
Hello?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you clearly, sir, but your video does seem to kind of be frozen.
Hello.
He's going to get dropped off this call in about 5 seconds is about how this seems.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but unfortunately, I don't think you can hear us.
Now, can you repeat that one more time? Nah, it was just what. That's what I just went.
Okay. So it sounds like you wish to make a statement and you do not have any questions that you think I need to ask her. Is that correct?
Whatever she said, I can't stand what it is. I got no questions.
I'm really sorry, sir. That is not.
No, I don't have no questions.
Okay.
No, I don't have no questions. No.
So before we take your testimony, what I'll have to ask you to do is please raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm that any statements you make to the court will be the truth under penalty of perjury? All right. What would you like to tell us today, sir?
Hello? Yeah, hear me? Hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, sir.
Like the whole thing out of all of this, man, you know what I'm saying? We went through the first TPO. I understand. I didn't try to avoid that situation. I learned from that situation before. You know what I'm saying? I tried to avoid everything of all that nature. I even asked, I said, can you just let me know what we're doing? Okay, the situation we was working to get into the house, get something off our credit and get into the house. I asked her, let me know what you trying to do, so what you doing. So I know. If you don't want me no more, say that. She told me, if I give your money back, you go to that, I'll put towards help you out. Am I gonna leave? I said, yeah. She said, when I get paid, I'm gonna give your money then you gonna leave. I said, yeah, I ain't even ask her. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even ask for money, nothing. I just played back, still do what I did. I had an injury, I was shot. You know what I'm saying? I can't help that. I had an injury deal. I asked you, what you want to do? Kill everything. I try to leave peacefully. I left peacefully. They try to I don't do no try to make sure her and my kids straight regardless, even after the fact. I don't care how the situation is or whatever. I don't give what terms we on, whatever. I don't do nothing care about my family and kids, man. Yeah, because of this, I got to get back on my feet. Okay, but I just asked. And it's a speech spot. I can't meet on her and my mama time. My mama works. She out on the weekend. I got something coming out. I as much as I can.
I can't let it go any longer. My mama works. She has her own wiki. Oh, that's what I thought it said. Oh, if his mama had her own wiki, oh, my life would be complete. Look at me flap like a little autistic weirdo I am. Okay.
No, man, I don't care on her side. She a business. I don't have nothing bad against this. I just try to see my kids on her, whatever, more than I can on her time. We can meet at her auntie house. Come on, man, I ain't got no problem getting my kids. I would love to have them and get them and pick them up at the time. My situation right now, I can't do that. So I have to make it best of my abilities. They come by talking about the class right now that's not me or nothing about me. Yeah, people make mistakes, but that's nothing type of person I am. And I can't right now in my situation. I'm trying to keep myself afloat and get on my feet for my kids. I can't take that on right now. Her family be there, you know what I'm saying? Listen, I don't care about I have something to do. I just want to see my kids, man. I don't have no way to just move and get them in like that. Somewhere I can have them like that. I just try to see my kids.
Y'all, is this actually an accent that we've been mistaking for like a Zoom fail? Oh my Lord. I feel really bad. This is unacceptable. You should be more appropriate for people that live in different worlds, because like, I mean, you know what I mean. Uh, if anybody is Southern translatable, please translate for us.
I don't care if it's 30 minutes out of the day. I don't care if it's 30 minutes 1-2 times out of the week. Me just auntie how I know I can get to her 30 minutes. That's fine with me. I don't care if she be invisible. I ain't tripping on that. I'm not, whatever.
All right. Ma'am, are there any questions that you think I need to ask him before we move on?
No, I don't have any question. I've stated, the kids, I've left that door open. And that's why I want it to be strictly about the kids.
I don't understand her either. She sounds the exact same to me, like the stutter, and it's not the stutter. This is obviously the dialect, and I'm not trying to be rude. And I listen to Southern Court all the time and Texas Court all the time. I was married in Galveston, Texas, but I was not married in the streets of Galveston.
I drop the kids off, and he go and visit them hours later. Not at the same time.
Hey, man, I say one more thing, sir. I ain't mean to interrupt her when she's done.
All right. Yes, sir. 1 second, though. Ma'am, was there anything you needed me to ask him?
No, I don't want to talk. It's nothing, outside of the kids that I want to talk about,
Okay. All right, sir. What was your one other thing you wish to say? Sir, I think you're back on mute. I'm sorry. I don't know why
I'm
it
not
cut
I
off.
sorry.
said, I understand. I done seen plenty times out of the blue. I run the void. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no problem. Ain't never still ain't on about heard nothing talk. Ain't nothing to talk about. Period. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no bad blood with her. Ain't got nothing against her. I still love her. That's still the woman that I came to. But it's nothing to talk about. It's about my kids. We not. If you conversation come, but it's about my kids.
Did we just lose him completely?
Yes, because apparently there is a
Yes,
Jesus.
Judge. Let me
All right.
double check the breakout rooms for whatever reason if he got sucked into one.
Mr. Burke, while we're working on that, what you back with?
I need to get him.
Number 5 is a hearing.
Hold on, I can do this. Let me assist Asher with your request. Give me a second, please.
Oh, thank you.
Did he, Hector? I'm afraid to see what I got now. This is the problem when I don't.
I think Miss Goodman is still assisting our other
Oh, Miss
person
Pace.
with their issues. Yes, sir.
We might be able to just put him in the room with.
Yeah, that's why I sent you first, Asher, so you could ask her to.
Oh, I didn't know what happened. I thought I'd accidentally ended up in there.
Oh,
She is the only one with the power to bestow co-hosting abilities unto you.
I got you. I'll join the breakout room and talk to her. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. And for you, ma'am, give us a moment, please, while we see if his connection restores. And Judge, we're still live. Do you want me to stop?
We'll leave it running because I feel like if it's just a disconnect, then I feel like 2 minutes or less is the most that he should be gone. We had kind of gone from the test.
I think that Judge might have heard my prayer. I actually think that Judge might have heard my prayer about not cutting this stream off immediately. Except that this one ends in 3 minutes, so I bet he doesn't come back. But I prayed about this, and I don't pray about much. But I thought, in Georgia, it might just do me some good to do a little prayer. So I prayed to the court gods, and I said, "Dear court gods, I'm from Canada, by way of Scotland, and I'd love me some good court cases this week. If you could just go ahead and give me those, that'd be great. Peace and love."
Testimony about what happened into what he did or didn't want in an order if one were issued. So I'll give him a moment to get back.
Yes, Judge.
And then I'll just go from there.
Most guys do end up coming back inside at some point, Hector.
Hey guys, just a little catch everybody up. So apparently they were working out, and it's probably just heat exhaustion and dehydrated. Thank you.
Sir, have you joined the wrong Zoom call? Like, yes, I have had a rough day. Not a rough day, but like a good day exercise-wise. If we're gonna look at my steps, we're really close to 10,000 right now. And yeah, you're right. I should drink more water, okay? But I don't think you need to bring it up to the judge. That's like too much. Why don't you just talk to me about it straight up instead of going right to the judge in front of me? Like, that's not even cool, dude. Heat exhaustion, dehydration, come on. Chill, bro.
So I'm not. I don't know. I'm kind of conflicted about taking.
1 second, Bernard. My apologies.
No worries. I just want to let you. I'm monitoring him right now, and just
hold on, Bernard, please. I'm sorry, Bernard.
Oh shoot! I paused the recording. I thought I was doing that.
I'm coming with it. Give me a second, gentlemen.
There it ended. Okay. Hold on. Let me close the curtain and get the next possible thing that happened. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. We'll see what I got next. Because, you know, the connection to Canada is bad sometimes. It's not my fault. It's mostly about Canada. You can blame Canada. Uh, uh, I can't even remember who was on the screen last. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not trying to be. That seems like really long. Is that really what we got? Oh God, that one's super. Oh my God. Oh my God, the judge had such a long day today. Holy shit. I just looked at the episodes and I was like, oh my God. Oh, yeah, I guess we're buckling in. Let's see. Jesus. I don't know which one we did or didn't do. Like, the problem is they're
Under
all the
oath.
same dude, but they're a different guy. Or no, they're all the same guy, but they're a
And
different
he can,
Please say I do.
lady.
and he
Okay,
can,
here we go. Okay, well, we haven't seen this yet, so we'll watch it and we'll see how we do from here. Bye-bye. Hello. Oh, that's my desktop. Oh my God, my windows are showing.
he can testify, or do he have to go
Were
into
they
his
present to witness alleged violence? This case number of the case numbers on those 4 petitions, and so we're going to do this roughly as follows. I'll start with her, and I'll hear her testimony regarding any of these matters that she wishes to offer. Mr. Chandler, your name is on the paperwork next. So I'll ask you if you have any questions that need to be asked of her, and then I'll ask Ms. Dexter the same. Mr. Chandler, I will then turn to you to testify. When you're done, I'll ask Ms. Pates and Ms. Dexter if either of them have questions that they think I need to ask of you. And then Ms. Dexter, you will testify third, where I will then offer Ms. Pates and Mr. Chandler a chance to suggest questions for you after you're done giving the testimony you wish to give. Does anybody have any other witnesses who they intend to call to testify besides the three of you that are here in this room right now? And if so, you can unmute and let me know.
Can we call someone? Because I actually have a landlord regarding the situation. I can get him on the phone and he can testify, or do he have to go
Were
into
they
his
present to witness alleged acts of violence?
Yes, he was present when she said certain things, but it wasn't physical violence.
Okay, I doubt that testimony does not sound relevant, even if they were here. But if there's someone who you think needs to log on the Zoom, I'm happy, and that goes for anybody. You're happy to give them the Zoom room and password, and we'll hear what they have to say. But the decision that I have to make from a legal standpoint, there are a list of things that are defined as family violence under Georgia law. It's not just physical violence. It includes felonies, trespasses, stalking, and then the things we conventionally think of as physical violence. And that pretty much covers the list. I have to decide that it is more likely than not that one or more of those acts have been committed and that this order may prevent that from happening in the future. And I have to make that decision 3 separate times, 4 separate times for the various combinations of the case filings that we have here. And so each case, even though we will hear the evidence as one, each case is essentially decided on its own merits individually based on what information I need to pull from the various testimony we collect today. So, Ms. Pates and Mr. Chandler, you're the only person who has been sworn in so far. So I need to ask Ms. Pates and Ms. Dexter to both raise your right hands and unmute for me. Do you swear any statements you make to the court today will be the truth under penalty of perjury? If so, please say I do.
I do.
I do.
All right, thank you. You can put your hands down. Ms. Dexter, I'm going to place you on mute just to cut down on background noise as needed. Ms. Pates, we are going to begin with you. At the time of you first seeking protective orders, were you residing with Ms. Dexter and Mr. Chandler at a location in DeKalb County?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Pates, your audio is very choppy. It's a little bit like the drive-through box has been busted, is the best way I can describe it. But one moment. So, Ms. Pates, I'm getting some static and also some other noise, which could be like you typing or something, maybe depending on what kind of device you're on. It seems to have stopped at the moment. So you had an issue with Miss Dexter on the 14th, or on or about the 14th of June. Is that correct?
That's correct. It actually started before then.
You guys, I'm going to be serious. We watched the case where the woman had a relationship with him before and she had dirty pads. We did not watch this one before. Maybe some of you guys were over at Law Talk with Mike's. I'm not even going to just say that, but maybe that's what happened. But you didn't see it here. No, seriously, you didn't. When? Fucking when? Pull me a timestamp. MB, pull me a goddamn timestamp. Because we've seen this guy. How could we have seen this today? I reported it today. We've only been here for how many hours? Am I in a loop? We've only been here for almost an hour and a bit. Seriously, you guys. I'm fucking 100%. Like, listen, you know what? You guys have the ability to go back. I don't. 3925. Okay, I'm going on my phone. I'm going on my phone. Because here's the point. Look at. I don't think we've seen these people. This is what I pitched. But y'all watched Law Talk with Mike. We cannot just watch it. We cannot have.
Send over a chat message to you, see if you did audio with my phone number, sir.
Miss Pates, I'm having a lot of trouble understanding.
Okay, hold on. MV gave me an actual timestamp that does include these people. Okay. But they were on for a long time. I don't trust my memory, but I do trust timestamps. So I just pulled it up on my phone. I approve. Yes, this is true. This has happened. But it feels like we weren't there that long. So hold on. That's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's gonna be okay. And it wasn't Law Talk with Mike, and I apologize.
Is under oath. You were living with these two in a residence in DeKalb County. How long have you been living with each of these parties?
Mr. Chandler, Mr. Chandler moved in around May the 20th, and Miss Dexter moved in completely on June the 2nd. But I would like to cover a little bit of information just before the move-in that I tried to allude to earlier, if it's okay.
All right.
The last week of May, Stephen Rainey, the fourth roommate and leaseholder of the property, kept insinuating that, oh, we need to bring in another female because we just picked up Chandler. And I'm like, nope, I got to get used to this other person here. And before, Steve Rainey is a long distance truck driver, so I was working from home. It was perfect for peace and quiet working from home during the day. And with him gone all week, just here on the weekends. And Chandler was in and out with lots of traffic. But it made the whole house feel more like a Motel 6 suddenly with just 1 week of him moving in. Anyway, Steve Rainey asked me to help.
Hold on. Let's say thank you so much to Afix for that lovely super chat. I don't know what a Canadian accent is. I know what my Southern accent is. Y'all just heard it. But thank you all so much. This is the remainder of this. So we will see. But thank you so much. I think this is Canadian. I don't know.
Help him interview this one girl that he lied and said that he found off of his Craigslist ad. And we interviewed her, and I asked the traditional questions to try to get a feel for character. She had openly admitted that she used drugs recreationally. That was a red flag.
All right, so I'm just going to jump in here. We're here about violence or threats of violence or other similar acts of family violence.
Okay.
Bad roommates don't get protective orders. People who don't follow rules don't get protective orders. We are here for things that are, in their simplest term, tantamount to crimes against you as a person, though there are some other things that qualify. So let's talk about what we need to get into not your misgivings about this person being allowed into the house, though I do have a couple of other questions about that. How many people in total can live at this residence?
Really four. It's a 4-bedroom, 3 full bath.
Okay. And so at one point it was the 3 of you and Mr. Rainey were the 4.
It was me and Mr. Rainey, and then Chandler came on board the 20th of May, and then Dexter on the 1st of June.
Okay, so it was the 4 on the 1st of June, for example. It was all 4 of you in the 4 bedrooms.
Yes, sir.
Got it. Okay. And so, so tell me about the confrontation that came from that.
Okay. Miss Dexter was supposed to move in on the 30th. She could not. She was a no-show, no-call, and I took off from work for that. The 1st, she came late in the day and dropped in her furniture and clothing, and then just disappeared. The 2nd, Friday the 2nd, I had to go to work on my new supervisory job. And I explained to Mr. Rainey that I hadn't heard from our new tenant. So if she calls him, let her know that I'll meet her after 6 p.m. I did just that. I came in the house on Friday the 2nd, about 6:30-ish, and she was in the kitchen cooking. And she greeted me very aggressively. She, where's that key? Where's that key you said you had for me yesterday? And I'm like, oh, welcome, and I'm like, I tried to give you the key yesterday and you were upset and said, no, I'll get a key from Steve, meaning Steve Rainey, right? And which I did. And I said, I was carrying my work laptop bag and some other items and very exhausted after being on my feet all day. I said, give me 2 minutes. I'm going to run up to my room. I'm sure it's up there somewhere. And my intentions were to come right back down. And she just started ranting. And that's my exhibit 1, is a voice recording. She started ranting for about 7 minutes straight about, can I use profanity? That old B, I'm gonna beat her A if she don't hurry up and give me the key. I'm nice, but I ain't that nice. I'm a gangster. And she has the sweetest little childlike animated voice. At first I thought, oh, she's just letting out some steam to a family member, and I know moving is stressful. But then it got worse. And then she got on the phone with Rainey saying she was gonna put her hands on me. And I just thought, I'm not going back down there. I don't know this person, from Adam, she might really hurt. So I stayed in my
Now,
room.
let me jump in real quick because I have a question. I need to clarify. What is your relationship to this property?
I am a tenant.
Okay, how long have you been living there?
This time I've been living here since March. But
okay. Why are you the one in charge of distributing a key to a new tenant?
Again, that's Steve Rainey. And again, there's more history to this, sir, that I really need to tell the story. I met Steve Rainey in January of 2021. At that time, his ankle was literally shattered from some type of accident. He then had
Y'all, his ankle was shattered from an accident. Hi, Crystal. Welcome. This is crazy. The lady's face down below over here gets nuts. I'm laughing so hard. I'm going to pop back on screen in a second. I'm ordering dinner.
an ad online, reduced rent for cooking and cleaning and assisting me with
Ma'am, I need you to stop right now, and I need you to tell me how any of this is going to help me decide if Mr. Chandler or Miss Dexter committed an act of violence against you, because I cannot for the life of me even figure out a way to draw a path with my pen from where you are to where we need to be.
I just wanted to paint history that Steve Rainey and I, the leaseholder of the property, have known each other since January of 2021. I stayed with him about 7-8 months during that time. And then I came back in March of this year because he was looking for a roommate. He was actually reaching out to me. Hey, where are you? Come back. I miss you cooking, blah, blah, blah. You love it here. And so I took him up on it. Once again, reduced rent. I had 2 bedrooms, just like before, and a private bath because I'm an old person afraid of COVID. And then he decided he was going to interview Miss Dexter. Well, turns out Miss Dexter and Mr. Chandler have been friends or associates, and they brought her in as I can't even sugarcoat it, sex in exchange for rent to service both of them. She's so when she approached me on the 2nd, it made me realize that she has been appointed now the head of the household while Steve Rainey's away because they have this secret arrangement. So
where are you basing this
on? I'm basing this on the fact that I actually overheard some of the conversations and some of the sexual acts within the first couple of weeks between Miss Dexter and at least Rainey. And Rainey told me that, yeah, she was a security guard at Mr. Chandler's employer. He works for one of the DeKalb County agencies. I don't have a clue which one. But she was at one point a part-time security guard, and that's how they knew each other. So he referred her.
Okay, so
the evening when
she's moving in.
Mm-hmm. So the 20th, I'm sorry, the 2nd of June, her first official day in the house, she ranted for 7 minutes talking about what she was going to do to my old BA. And I stayed in my room because I then became very afraid. And then I heard her on the phone with Steve Rainey, and he was trying to calm her down. And there's also a text message that I sent over in one of the pieces of evidence of Rainey had texted me saying, please answer the phone. I'm trying to stop that girl from beating your ass. And I had blocked him a couple of days before because he was bothering me too much about don't worry about going to work, stay there and give that girl that key. It was very, very important for her to have, more important for her to have that key, a stranger, than for me to go out and earn money to pay my rent and have groceries. All right, so I stayed in my room, about 2 hours passed, and I thought, probably won't be able to sleep tonight because there's another stranger in the house, but I stayed in my room. I went to the restroom, Your Honor, and I was literally, too much information, but I was literally sitting on the toilet. The bathroom that Steve.
She says Steve Rainey one more time. Also, doesn't she have her own bathroom? She said she had her own bathroom, 2 bedrooms and a bathroom because she's an old lady afraid of COVID. I'm busy, but I'm fucking listening.
Steve Rainey forced us to share. It's a Jack and Jill bath, so it's a door to her bedroom and a door to mine. She just burst in the door forcefully with this large glass container of an alcoholic beverage. I'm guessing it was a margarita, a daiquiri, something like that. It was red. And she threw it at me, hit me upside the head. It saturated my wig. And
Now, when you say a container, you mean in like
glass.
It was okay. Got it. Carry on.
And that covered the white linen shirt that I was wearing that day. And I had it for evidence, but we'll get to that later. So I thought, wow. And then she told me, she said, I'm going to beat your old ass every day until you leave. That's exactly what she told me. And I'm like, oh my God. Did this really just happen? I called the police, and then the next morning, Steve Rainey arrived home like he always does. He leaves on Monday morning typically, and he comes back Saturday morning. And he came in, and I snuck down to breakfast before she got up to get just a coffee and toast. And he came into the kitchen and said, and that's exhibit number 2. It's about I'm trying to go on memory. It's about a 30-minute conversation, but he starts off, Your Honor, saying, so what are you going to do? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, you going to move, you going to stay, you going to go, what you going to do? And I'm like, I wasn't planning on going anywhere, but if you want me to go, since, thinking to myself, since Miss Dexter said, I'm going to beat your A until you go, then I'll start looking for a place. He says, well, how long are you going to need? I'm like, well, at least 30 days. I mean, that's standard, and it takes a while to find a safe, clean place. And he starts rant. He says that he goes on and on. Again, it's a long conversation. He starts accusing me of not paying rent, which is a lie. He demands rent in cash most of the time because he doesn't want to report it to the IRS's earnings. And then he says, I proposed 30 days. He said, no, 30 days. He said 15 days. And I
So
said,
when this was like the day after she threw the drink on you?
yes, sir. It's like my friend of almost 2 years just changed on me overnight. That's when I knew that it was something up with these relationships.
So that was June 3rd, about
June
6 weeks ago.
Yes, sir. June the 3rd.
And what's happened between these 2 people and you since then?
Since then, Miss Dexter I'm going off of memory, just random memory now. The next major thing was she assisted Steve Rainey while I was at work. No, on the 9th, I came in from work and I parked in the garage next to Steve Rainey's car, my assigned parking spot. She and Steve Rainey were sitting at the breakfast table with 3 guns displayed. And my heart just dropped in the middle of my stomach because I'm thinking, oh my God. And I couldn't even think to run or say nothing. I just kept walking past them and went upstairs to my room and locked the door. But they had a 9mm, an assault, like a assault rifle, I don't know what you call them, and then something like a sawed-off shotgun or a miniature machine gun. And I went in the room and just stayed. The next couple of days, on the 13th, I came in from work, and Mr. Chandler was sitting in his truck in the driveway and initially would not let me even pull in the driveway. And so I toot my horn, and after about 2 minutes, he pulls up so that I can drive in and get into my garage. No, to get into the garage space, but to my surprise, my garage door opener wasn't opening because they had changed the locks and disconnected the power to the garage door opener. So Chandler then pulled his truck right in front of me and just stared at me, mocking me as I struggled to try to get in, figure out a way to get in the house. Then finally he drove off. I asked him, could you please just let me in? He drove off. Then Steve Rainey texted me and said, there's a key in the mailbox with everything you need on it. He and Yvonne Dexter had packed up all my things and moved them to a storage unit, and I sent that over as well as evidence or an exhibit. A storage unit in Morrow, close to my new job.
All right, hang on, because you said something about an exhibit. Let me see, Ms. Broom, are you able to screen share whatever?
I see some exhibits, but they're not what she's
Different
saying.
ones.
Yeah.
And I guess one of the challenges here is we got like 4 cases that they might be under. So
it's gonna be with the exhibit 1 is a voice recording of Yvonne Dexter rant on the first day because I didn't come downstairs with the key fast enough.
And see, I see a voice recording, but it's showing that it was too long.
Well, there was one that was sent in by the Women's Center. When the case was filed and in the right format, nobody said it wasn't legible or accessible. And then it was sent in again yesterday through the Women's Center in the right format. So you should.
So it was sent in yesterday. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. It would have came from Women's Resource Domestic Violence Astra.
all right. So while we're checking on those things, let's carry on with the testimony. So you have the issue where you say they're basically trying to remove you from the property and direct you elsewhere. So were you able to go to the storage locker and find belongings?
I did go there and find belongings, but not all of my belongings. They just threw my stuff in garbage bags and threw it in this small storage space. And when I was rumbling through, even to just try to find my primary work clothes, corporate casual kind of thing, I noticed that, a lot of my clothing and shoes were not there. And anyway, I finally had a conversation over the next couple of days with Mr. Rainey, and he apologized, and then he was retracting, saying, I don't know what came over me, and I told him if anybody goes, it's going to be them and not you. And all right, so that was the 13th. The guns on the 9th, moving myself to storage unit on the 13th. And then it's been like, oh boy, it's been like at least 4 different physical assaults by Miss Dexter. I mean, she's held true to her promise on June the 2nd that I'm going to beat your old ass every day until you go. I mean, she'll
So what was the last incident that took place between you two?
Last night, the major one was this past Saturday morning. She was mad because she called the DeKalb police to try to have me served with this retaliation TPO that she served against me for filing one on her and having her removed from the house. So she called them and they came and they explained that, well, it's nothing they can do. And they just have to, sit there and make sure I don't run away until the sheriff comes. Well, the sheriff didn't come because I honestly believe they know that it's a bogus TPO.
That's not up to them. That has no control over how they act. I can tell you that right now.
Oh,
So, because
They
if
didn't-
there's an order from the court, it's their job to enforce it. No ifs, ands, or buts. So whatever happened, happened. But I can promise you it wasn't for that.
They may have been. They
So-
may have been extremely busy, or I know that the law enforcement is short-staffed nationwide. So for whatever reason, they did not come. She got upset, and I was while the law enforcement was there, I was making my coffee as I normally do, and when they left, she came in and started brushing up against me at the stove, cooking my eggs. And I reminded her that, you can't just take people's groceries. And she started pushing and shoving then. And she took my my coffee that I had just fixed, threw the coffee on me, and took my coffee mug, smashed it in the floor. And then as I went over to get my phone to call the police, she just started grabbing phones, bam, in the floor. Bam. Busted up both of my phones. The one with what I would use to do all the voice recordings on, and then my primary phone for conversations and work and what have you. She destroyed both of them, and they are pictures of those are in exhibit number 2 that were sent over yesterday as well.
All right, give us a moment to see if we can pull that up.
Along with that, and I know that, these things don't, other cases don't have anything to do with this case, but other cases tell about character.
No, not doing that.
Okay.
It's that kind of character evidence. We're not gonna. I have to decide what happened between y'all, and I don't believe whatever other interpersonal issues exist between either of these people and anyone else. It's just not instructive in unpacking this, in my opinion. And so, all right. So, Madam Clerk, do we have the exhibit she's referencing this time?
And this one is a picture of a car. Exhibit 2, would there be a picture of a car, like the inside of a car?
No, ma'am, this is gonna be exhibit 2 was sent over on Monday, yesterday at 12:42 p.m. by Asher.
And what is it a picture of?
Wait a minute. Cell phone, 2 cell phones side by side on a brown tabletop, and then some pages of a legal document, which the judge just said I can't present that second piece. Yeah. But it's photos of my 2 phones smashed.
I'll look for it. She said it was sent over by Women Resource. I'll check.
And yes, it's a lot. It's a lot of pieces of evidence. I tried to be very thorough.
Oh my God, what are they waiting for right now? Seriously. I'm not on the porch. Fine, I am on the porch.
With him in the house moving forward, but he initially became violent with me on the 23rd of June when the sheriff called me to coordinate the service of the TPO on Miss Dexter to have her removed from the house. I came into the garage and he was standing in the kitchen window that's open to the garage. He rushed to the door and just stood there with a crazy stare. Then he went back to the window. I was afraid to get out of the car because I'm thinking, dang, she left and the sheriff has left. So they are, and so when they'll be back to serve her, and he can do whatever he wants to me. So I sat in my car for a minute, and at that time, he just stood in the window blowing kisses at me, mocking me. And then when I came in the house, he spoke very loudly in his beautiful accent. How was your day, Gail? How was your day? How's your new job, Gail? How's your new job? And I just kept walking and went on up to my bedroom and stayed the remainder of the evening. And this Dexter returned that night around 10:30 or 11. So I contacted the sheriff and let them know that she was there. They didn't come until the morning of the 24th, where she was officially served and escorted out. She was driving a car that she had just purchased without a license, and she was afraid to put her stuff in there. So she called Mr. Chandler, and he came to help her out. And he loaded her stuff into his Dodge Ram pickup truck and took
Slow
her
now?
wherever she needed to go. However,
Harder to hear slow from the porch.
he came back to the house around 1 o'clock, and he was in the kitchen downstairs just slamming the kitchen cabinets like he was having a meltdown, and cursing and saying all the things he was going to do to me. I'm an old bee. He was going to beat my old ass. She didn't deserve that, and this, that, the other, and the third. All right, I stayed in the room, but then it got so...
This, that, the other, and the third. What's the third? I don't think I've heard of that. I've definitely heard of this, that, and the other. I've not heard of the third.
Bad. I thought, he just might act on his threats. So, and he had done this, having flashbacks, he had done this a couple of times before too. When she would jump on me and I'd call the police, he would run up and try to force his way in my door and get me off the phone calling the police. And each time the police would start to come, he'd leave. But on this particular day, the 24th, he stayed and ranted, and they came and they talked to him. And after they left, then he and Steve Rainey went into Miss Dexter's room after the...
Okay, somebody needs to go back and start counting how many Steve Raineys we've got. Also, Afix, there's no mods in here. You said it yourself. Nobody put you in timeout. There's no rules in here. The rule is don't be a douche.
Sheriff had told us, don't go in there because she left her stuff a certain way. Dad should have the right to come back and find it the way she left it. And I understood that. They went in there fumbling around, rumbling like they were looking for something. And then they went into the garage, and I heard them fumbling around even more. But I just stayed in
Mayor. Sorry, Mayor, you are a mod. But what I mean is I don't ask my mods to do any modding in the same sense. I would hope, y'all. You show me out, and I appreciate that so much. And you encourage people to like in funny, cool ways, and that I want. But don't block anybody. Don't fucking block comments. Y'all know that. I like to deal with commenters. Loose cunt or whatever that guy's name was last week. Y'all know. Y'all know. I enjoy it. I love attention, positive and negative.
my room. So the next morning, when I did finally go down to the garage after listening to live streaming service, I was going to Walmart to get groceries and to the trails to walk and clear my head. That's when I noticed the puddle of water, and those are exhibit pictures. See if I can find those. I noticed a strange puddle of water at the rear of my car, and the first...
Strange puddle of water at the rear of her car?
After hearing some fumbling and rumbling in the garage, oh my God. Yeah, usually that's extra.
Thought is dang, they were out there in the garage on the 23rd. After I called the police, and then they were out there in the garage on the morning of the 24th. Oh, the morning of the 24th. No, the 25th, that Sunday, before discovering the puddle of water. Mr. Chandler was having another meltdown. I had gone down to fix coffee, and he had a pot of old chicken grease sitting on the stove. And I was afraid that my elbow was gonna knock it over while I was fixing coffee in my little Keurig. So I just moved the grease from one eye to the other. When I came back up to the room, enjoying my coffee, he was in a cursing fit and slamming cabinet doors again. Stop effing with my shit. I'm gonna kill this bitch. Then he after ranting like that for several minutes, he got on the phone with Steve Rainey, telling him the same thing. I'm gonna do this, that, and I'm gonna kill this old B messing with my stuff. And so I thought, he was stomping around. He's coming up here again. And, so I called the police, and I was recording him. So I played the recording for the police, and they counseled him on, why did he make a false report, and explained to him that, hey, she was recording you, and what you're saying ain't adding up. So that made
what falsity did he report?
He said that I had messed with his food and his groceries that he had on the stove, and they could see that it was just a pot of chicken grease where he had fried chicken or pork chops the day before and left it on the stovetop. And I needed to.
Man, did you just say chicken grease where he had fried pork chops? Your story is crumbling. Your story is crumbling.
To them, sir, that I slid it from the one eye over because my elbow, the counter space was so small. I didn't want to mop up grease. And I admitted that to them, but he tried to make it sound like I just came down there and I don't know, destroyed his whole meal or something.
While acknowledging the possibility that some of the things that he might be saying, if corroborated, and I know there are questions about recordings and whatnot, this is a meandering path to whatever we're supposed to be getting toward today. What is the significance of the water in the garage?
Okay. So after the police came and heard that, I went out to my car just to get out of the house because I hadn't been out in 2 days. And that's when I noticed the water a puddle of water at the back of my car. And I thought, oh my God, I hope they didn't put water in my gas tank. So I made it 2 miles from the house to Anvil Block Road into Walmart. When I came out of Walmart, my car, which was running like a brand new sewing machine, was fidgety to start. And then when it did start, was sputtering a little bit. So I thought, they probably did put water in it. And I went a half mile up to Kroger to try to top it off with some premium gas, thinking maybe that'll at least let me go 4 or 5 miles and find an emergency mechanic. And I didn't make it that far. The car shut off within another mile. And I had it towed. I flagged down the tow truck. It was just the grace of God. He was like right there where I pulled off at the side of the road, and I flagged him down. He towed me back to the house for an $80 discount and put the car right back in the garage where it always was. And then I called my mechanic from Mableton, Georgia, to come and check it and repair it, because I was just thinking, okay, it's just water. And when the mechanic came, he pumped out the fuel and the fuel tank, and those photos are sent in there in exhibits to each of the cases for both Chandler and Rainey. He shined his light up in there to show me these big clumps of sugar and another white substance in the bottom of the fuel tank. And he sponged all of that out and replaced the fuel pump. And then he verified that it was sugar. In the photographs, you can see the crystallized sugar all inside the actual fuel pump.
We
and
do
then
have that, Judge. Would you like for me to show that?
Yes, if we have that one.
Okay.
And then when he added the new fuel in after installing a brand new fuel pump and dry cleaning the actual fuel tank, he did warn that the
Whoa. I'm sorry. I've worked at many car dealerships. No, it's not true. I've worked at one car dealership that had 3 different brands in it, but you don't dry clean a fucking fuel tank. Oh, and I dealt with people that put diesel in gasoline or gasoline in diesel engines like once a week, okay? I worked at a Volkswagen dealership.
Still could be sugar in the lines because you drove a couple of miles, so don't be surprised if I have to come back and do the fuel injectors.
So how do you know that he was the one that was responsible for this?
Because that Friday evening when I came into the kitchen, I had my, after he was upset with me because Yvonne Dexter was about to be removed. The sheriff had just came and left, and she had left. He had a brand new tube of caulking right beside him, and that's the other piece of the car story. And
A tube of what, ma'am? He had what?
that video is no longer available because that video was on the phone that Miss Dexter destroyed this past Saturday with a whole lot of other videos and voice recordings. However, he had that caulking. He had a brand new tube of caulking just sitting.
Say caulking again. Say it again. Say it caulk. Say it. Say it more.
Sitting beside him when he was mocking me. And then the time that I witnessed him and Rainey in the garage, both on the 24th and the morning of the 25th, both times right after I had to call law enforcement to get him to stop.
Caulking. I had to call law enforcement to get him to stop caulking.
Chandler to stop ranting about all the harm he was going to do to me, kill me, make me come up missing, and all this, that, and the other. And in addition to the sugar in the tank, and it like it had to be 5 pounds or more. It was so much. And
5 pounds of sugar? Fucking nuts. Nobody puts 5 pounds of goddamn sugar in a gas tank.
When the mechanic put like 4 gallons of premium back in there and we started it up, we immediately smelled, well, it took them forever to get it in because they took that caulking, the little tubes like what you use to do fine caulking around a shower or tub. They took that.
All of this can be boiled down to your car was damaged. We have been going for so long and we haven't even gotten to the part where the first person asks you their first question, much less the part where they get to give their own testimony about these stories. So the painstaking detail with which you are spelling these things out is not really helpful in this setting in terms of determining what the rulings that I'm tasked with making. If we were in a civil suit where we were trying to figure out the exact dollar amount of the damages, some of these things would bear a little differently. So right now, I'm going to shift us in a different direction. What we're going to do, Mr. Chandler, your case is first on the calendar. And what we've been talking about most recently has pertained to you. Understanding you're going to have a chance to give your own testimony. You've had a chance to see those pictures that were shared. Do you have any questions you wish to ask Ms. Pates, or any objections to the admissibility of those pictures for whatever weight the court gives them when we're done? I think you'll have to click the unmute.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So do you have any questions for this witness? Any objections to the admission of those pictures into evidence?
Yes, sir.
All right. What questions would you like to ask Ms. Pates?
Did Miss Stitt ever saw me on her car?
No, she said
I
she saw
saw-
you with the other items.
No, the car came as far. I regrout the bathroom. My bathroom downstairs, I regrout my bathroom. So I caught around the tub. That's what the car can was for.
Okay, that's a statement,
And-
not a question. Do you have a question for this witness?
Did she see me around her car? I don't know nothing about her car.
All right. Have you seen him near the car?
Yes, sir. Both times when I heard the noise in the garage, because nobody would ever spend any time in the garage. I came downstairs and the kitchen window overlooks the garage, looks right out into it. That's when I saw both he and Steve Rainey in the garage. But they were just standing between the cars, my Mercedes and Rainey's Jaguar, like they were having a conversation.
Whoa, lady. We gotta go back. Did she just drop that? Like her and Steve Rainey? First of all, I'm starting to disbelieve that Steve Rainey exists at this point. Oh my god.
Yes, sir. Both times when I heard the noise in the garage, because nobody would ever spend any time in the garage. I came downstairs and the kitchen window overlooks the garage, looks right out into it. That's when I saw both he and Steve Rainey in the garage. But they were just standing between the cars, my Mercedes and Rainey's Jaguar, like they were having a conversation when they saw me in the window.
Okay, so she's given that example of an instance where you were near
Okay.
the vehicle. Do you have
Okay.
other questions?
Okay, you heard what she just said, my honor. She saw me and Rainey in the facility of her car. So she did not see me, nor she did not see Mr. Rainey tampering with her car because it never happened.
That's argument, not a question. Do you have other questions for this witness?
No.
Okay. It is a fine tightrope to walk between hoping that things are going the place you need them to go, and sometimes you have to just take the wheel and get them there. And we have crossed over into the latter situation because I have a number of other hearings that we are going to conduct this afternoon, and there are going to be a whole lot of people ordering DoorDash for dinner, is where we're at right now. So, all right, Miss Dexter, this is the time for questions and only questions. The time for testimony. I'm echoing. Do you have questions for Miss Pates?
I just want to ask one question. If I did anything physically to her, why was I not arrested? She said that I physically hit her in the head. She said she called the police.
Let me ask. Okay. So did you have any visible injuries from those incidents, Miss Pates?
No, sir. And that's that, except for this Saturday. This Saturday was the first time that I had a visible incident where she punched me, and she's done that several times, just punched me and snatched my wig off. She's made a hobby out of just running into my room and snatch my wig off. It's funny to her and punch me in the face.
The police did not
So she
observe any
punched me.
injuries, didn't make an arrest. Is
They
that the
did.
answer to the question? Is that the correct answer to the question, Ms. Pates?
That is correct. They took pictures, but they did not make an arrest. Then
Okay,
they took me to the T-Mobile store to get a backup phone because she had smashed both of my phones just prior to punching me in the face.
And did
Man,
they
we thought it was
give you any
Cricket. She went to
information regarding
T-Mobile. We thought it was a Cricket store. This is nuts. What the fuck is happening? Do you think the judge feels like as weird as I do right now? Because I feel like this is a lot
for the court.
The next steps you were supposed to take.
Yes, sir. They advised me to go and pursue a warrant, which I had applied for a criminal warrant shortly after June the second with the first physical assault. I applied online through the DeKalb County courts. And I was told that since I didn't have they called me at work and said, "Do you have her social security number?" I'm like, who that's being accused of a crime is going to give you their social security number to have them prosecuted?
Yeah, that civilian warrant process is complicated to navigate. That's not surprising to me as someone who handles some of those issues that you ran into that roadblock. It's a process that doesn't exist in most other states. But all right.
And then, sir, on Mr. Chandler, I've been working with the DeKalb County Sheriff's Unit on domestic violence to pursue a warrant for the physical assault of him trying to force his way into my room, amongst other things. And they've just been, I don't know, the first investigator was on vacation and someone called me and assured me.
Do you have any other questions for Ms. Pates?
I do not, sir.
All right, very good. So, Mr. Chandler, excuse me,
Yes,
you were on first as our
Yes,
first listed respondent. We'll give you the opportunity to testify if you wish to testify. You've already been sworn in and are under oath. Would you like to testify in this matter?
Yes, sir.
What would you like to tell us?
She's crazy.
Come on. When I moved into that place, into that house, me and Miss Gill, we used to get along. Miss Gill started saying that I bringing women in and out of the house. I don't have no little kids that I have to take care of. I work, I come home, I bed, by 8 o'clock I gone. I hardly sleep is there. I come back about 6 o'clock, get ready for work and come to work. I tried to ask Gail what was the problem with me and her. I said, Gail, let's talk about this. What's the problem? I never did you anything. Oh, I don't want to talk to fat boys. No, fat boy. That was it. I leave it as that. She called the police, tell the police I threatened her. I never had no conflict with the woman. So I was trying to figure out what's going on between me and her. She never tell me what's going on between me and her. I witnessed I was sleeping one night and I heard a commotion upstairs. I got up and I went up there. Yes, I did went up there. I don't know what was going on up there. I said, Ava, open this door, open this door. Ava opened the door. I saw Gail took up an iron that you iron clothes and throw it at Eva and it barely missed her head. I called the police. Then she said one day, how she can burn the house down. We got to sleep with one eye open. And I didn't know where all of that was coming from because me and that woman never had no conflict. And she caught me totally off guard. I don't know what happened. And with her car, I don't know nothing about her car. I really don't. That's all I have to say.
Okay, and you describe an incident where she made another threat to you or she had a weapon. Was that around the same time?
Yes, she had a it was like a butter knife. I think it was a butter knife. And she said that she was going to stab me with it. And so I looked at her and I said, you better get away from me, woman. You better get away from me. That's what I told her. And then I called my girlfriend and I said, yo, this bitch over here is acting crazy. And my girlfriend said to me, just put on your clothes and come on over here. And that's what I did.
All right. Ms. Pates, do you have any questions that you think need to be asked to Mr. Chandler right now? You'll have to click to unmute for me.
Yes. Mr. Chandler, what were you doing in the garage for about an hour on the morning of the 24th after Miss Dexter was removed from the house, and again on Sunday morning after the police left with Mr. Rainey?
I was not in that garage when the police removed Miss Dexter. Miss Dexter called me to get her from there, and the sheriff department was still there. And the sheriff department said to me, "Thank you very much, sir." And I put her inside my car, inside my truck, and we left.
So
Now,
I think
Sunday,
what were you doing for that time in the garage?
now the Sunday, when me and Mr. Rainey was in the garage, the computer on Mr. Rainey's car is not good. And his car won't start. He was
So is the
using
answer to this question, you were doing something for Mr. Rainey's car?
No, me and Mr. Rainey was inside the garage looking at his car. So he was using some of my tools because
So
his
the
car
answer is
have a
yes.
yes, it was me
You
and
were
Mr.
working
Rainey
on
in the
Mr.
garage.
Rainey's car. Her question is, what
Yeah,
were you doing in the garage? And your answer is working on Mr. Rainey's car. What's your
Yes,
next
me and
question,
Mr.
Ms. Pace?
My next question is, on one occasion, Mr. Chandler, you were, I don't know, just transparent for no reason and shared with me that you were illiterate, lacking the ability to read and write well, and you were really grateful for your government job. And then I look at your the TPO that you filed, and it's a mirror of the original TPO that Miss Dexter tried to file on the 27th after she was removed from the home. It's in handwriting. Is that your writing, sir?
Listen to me. My words to you was, I'm the only illiterate man that have a government job. That is what I said to
Answer
you.
the question. This is so ridiculous. Whose handwriting is on the paper?
I don't know.
How did it
I
get
don't know.
done?
I did that paperwork. I did that PTO. I did that.
So this is your handwriting that
Yes.
I'm looking at on your petition.
On my PTO is my handwriting. I don't know nothing about Miss Dexter's PTO or nothing.
All right. Madam
My
Clerk, can
next-
you pull that up and screen share it for me, the petition for 5964?
One moment.
No, I don't like this lady at all. In the purple. Don't shame people for being illiterate. Teach them, bitch.
Let me know if you need some assistance, Ms. Plum.
F in the chat for illiterate government workers.
What
F in the
page
chat
would you
for
like
illiterate
to? Thank you,
government
Ms.
workers.
George.
First one will be fine.
Okay.
Night
No,
birds.
Mr. Pates, I mean no disrespect with this question, but I do want to make sure I understand what's going on. Sometimes people make comments that they don't mean or as a joke. Other times, you know, they say things. So this is the petition we have. So before we get into what she's asking, I guess the question is this your handwriting?
I can't even read it.
Yes.
I don't know if I have to blur
Yes.
this. I can't
Okay.
even read it.
So you filled this petition out and then you did what with it?
I think I email it back to the down to the website that they told me to. Yes, that's mine. Yes.
So did you send it so you wrote it by hand, scanned it and emailed it?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay,
I
who
wrote it.
assisted?
I wrote it out by hand, and then I give it to my girlfriend. She took it to her job and she scanned it and sent it back.
So that you would have the electronic copy to email in.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And so, all right, Ms. Pates, what's your next question?
Your Honor, is it possible to get just a quick sample writing from
No.
Mr.
What's next?
Okay.
You ever heard anybody ask for a sample of writing in TPO court? Oh, I missed that before. I just want to hear her say it and I want to see his face. I wasn't watching. Look at his face. Look at his face. Look at his face.
Put it by hand, scanned it, and emailed it?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay,
I
who
wrote it.
assisted?
I wrote it out by hand, and then I give it to my girlfriend. She took it to her job and she scanned it and sent it back.
So that you would have the electronic copy to email in.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And so, all right, Ms. Pates, what's your next question?
Your Honor, is it possible to get just a quick sample writing from
No.
Mr.
What's next?
Okay. I'd like to point out that Mr. Chandler, this TPO initial filing, which is stamped across the top of most of the pages, but definitely pages 8, 13, and 14, is, as I stated earlier, filed on 6/27/2023 at 10 a.m. And then your actual TPO wasn't filed until the 5th of July, after you had been removed from the home. So my direct question is, why is there a lapse of almost 30 days from the filing?
Sorry, what almost 30 days are you referencing here?
Well, the TPO has a date stamp across the top of it. If you see page 8, it's got 2 numbers on it, page 8 and 12 on page 8, page 13 and 14, or page 8, 1 and 1.
Are you looking at an order or a petition?
I'm looking at the petition, sir. The filing.
Okay, and it's the same handwritten one that was just screen shared?
Yes, sir. And it was initially filed on 6/27/23, which was the red flag that made me believe that it was the petition that was initially filed by Ms. Dexter and wasn't processed. And then the actual date that Mr. Chandler filed isn't until July the 5th. After he was, his file date is the 5th of July for this.
Where are you basing that on?
It's printed on the copy of the documents that I have. 23 PO 05964.
I'm just going to tell you, I think that's the date that they were literally printed. It's not the date that anything was done. That's the date it was printed off the computer to bring to you.
Yes, it did.
Because you were served.
I was served on the 5th. Yes, sir.
So that would match up. If the sheriff, if they printed those documents on the 5th, they could have brought them to you on the 5th. That's why they're dated the 5th. What's your next question?
Okay. That's really all I have for Mr. Chandler.
All right. Ms. Dexter, do you have any questions for Mr. Chandler?
I just want to ask him, did I previously know you before June 1st? I've never met him ever in my life. So
no, ma'am.
Well, I'm asking him. I'm sorry.
No, ma'am. I didn't know you. No, ma'am.
Thank you. That's all I have, Judge.
When I met her That is when I found out that she works for the county too. Since then, I never know her before then.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Chandler, I think that's all the questions we have for you. Ms. Dexter, this is your opportunity to provide your testimony. You've been sworn in and are under oath. What would you like to tell us today?
Well, my testimony is I feel that this lady, Miss Page, is mentally disturbed. She is delusional. She just do all types of stuff in the house. Like Steve told you, she threw an iron at my head one time when I wasn't looking. We did get into a confrontation because she's mad that I shared the bathroom with her, but it's not her house. You know, she got an eviction. She's mad that she got an eviction, and the guy wants her to get out the house because she's not paying rent and she's squatting. And he brought other people in to pay the rent, and she's not paying the rent. So she's mad that, you know, I guess her and Mr. Rainey had some type of relationship. I don't know, but he's the 60-year-old man. I've never had any type of sexual dealings with him. No type of, it is nothing like that. I did find an ad on Craigslist. I responded to the ad. I moved in on June 1st. She's correct. She was supposed to leave a key under the mat because she had to go to work. She did not leave the key. So I called Mr. Rainey. Mr. Chandler came out of work and came to let me inside of the residence. When she got home, she told me that she's going to give me the key. I told her that's fine. Mr. Chandler gave me a key. I'm gonna go and make my own key. So at that point in time, she was upset. She got mad and said, somebody trying to, whatever. That made us estranged that day. That made us not, I guess she got an attitude about that. I don't know why she got this big thing that something's going on between. Nothing ever has been going on. But okay, so move forward. She's just been doing erratic things in the house. She'll turn on all of the lights and leave the lights on all day. She'll turn on all the water. So Mr. Rainey just wanted her out of the house. You know, so like I said, I don't be here like that. I just go and mind my business. I'm just a regular tenant. But as far as her and her erratic behavior, I fear for my life because she does stuff at night where it's scary. You know, she told everybody she was gonna burn the house down, like Mr. Chandler said, and to sleep with one eye open. She put the glue all over the locks, so we only have one door to enter. We can't get in and out of the house. It's only one door, and that's the door to the garage. And the only reason she didn't glue that door is because she has the only garage key, and Mr. Rainey, which is the homeowner, has the garage key. So he then gave me the garage key so I can get in and out of the home. She did put a PTO on me, but they dismissed it because it was. First, I left when they served me. They told me I had to leave the home. I left. The PTO was up July 9th, but I didn't come back. I didn't come back until we went to court. When we went to court, they dismissed the charges, and then that's when I returned back to the home. But
and that was a procedural dismissal. You didn't have an evidentiary hearing with testimony, correct?
Correct. And I've never even talked to the judge before they even issued the PTO. That's why I'm like, I don't know why.
That's how that process works. That's how it works for everybody. It's the same reason that you talk to a judge to get yourself here without them there. So, all right.
Right.
So what else did you wish to tell us?
I just wish to tell you that I fear for my life. She does crazy things at nighttime. And I'll be scared to sleep sometime. But this is where I live, and I pay rent here. I pay 3 months rent. She doesn't pay any rent. She doesn't live here. She put a PTO on Mr. Rainey, which is the person that actually owns the property. She put a PTO on him because he gave her eviction papers. At first, he just told her, go ahead and leave. He didn't really, he told her to get some time for her to just go ahead and leave, but she wouldn't leave. So now he actually filed for eviction to get her out of here. And now that she's leaving, she just do stuff. She just do crazy things. She wait till people go to sleep and she does crazy things. And like I said, I paid to live here, and then I had to pay for a hotel for 2 to 3 weeks because of this incident. And I think she needs to be mentally evaluated. Everything she said was lies. I never touched this lady. I think she broke her own phones. I've never put my hands on this 60-year-old lady. I've never put my hands on her. I never punched her in the face. I never told her I'm gonna beat her. We got into a verbal argument, of course, but I've never put my hands on her. So I just, like I said, I think that the TPO is valid because she's the actual aggressor. She talks very nice and sweet, but she's really a demon. She really does stuff that is outrageous. And I just want the court to recognize that. I don't know what evidence she has, but it's false evidence. I've never put my hands on her. She the one actually hurt me. She threw an iron at my head. She gets crazy and erratic, and she just go crazy. I don't know what's wrong with her, but I've never put my hands on her. And that's my testimony. I'm ready to go. Sorry.
All right, Ms. Pates, do you have any questions for this witness?
Yes, because I missed this one on Chandler, and I should have asked him as well. But Ms. Dexter, when you make the accusation that I said I was going to burn down the house with everyone in it, I noticed that that's only on Mr. Chandler's application for TPO. Do you have any proof or any police report that I made such threats?
No, I didn't.
Specifically that I was going to burn down the house while everyone was sleeping in it.
Police reports are not evidence for these purposes. The evidence is testimony.
I've never called the police. We just heard you say it out of your mouth. No, I don't have any evidence.
That's enough of an answer, Ms. Dexter. Ms. Pates, do you have any other questions?
I do. On your TPO, Ms. Dexter, that you filed, what dates did the allegations actually take place? Because I'm noticing that again, that your TPO was not filed until 3 or 4 days after you had been removed under the TPO I filed on you.
For 1 month. It's been June. It was in June.
All right, we're gonna reframe this question. Did you file your TPO after the sheriff removed you from the house?
I did.
Okay, I don't know how many questions it was going to take to get to that, but I think that's where that's going. Ms. Pates, what is your next question?
Just the allegations on that TPO. I mean, typically, if something happened to me, I'd say it happened on June the 2nd, June the 9th, and June the 13th. Are there any specific dates? Why aren't there dates on the allegations?
Okay.
You're right. I'm in the weeds. I'm sorry, sir. I'm in the weeds.
What's your next question?
Here's a key one. You stated several times, Ms. Dexter, that Mr. Stephen Rainey owns the property here at 3927. How do you know that he owns it? Because I know differently.
Irrelevant. Next question.
That's all I have, sir.
Okay. Mr. Chandler, do you have any questions for Ms. Dexter?
No, sir.
All right. I don't want to be rash and make any decisions while I sit here. I have a lot to think over and look over. The three of you will be placed in the waiting room and be brought back in when and if I have an announcement about how we'll be proceeding from here.
Sir, can I ask one more question? Did Miss Pates throw an iron at the back of my head? I want to ask her that.
She's not on the witness stand for that. So no, ma'am. All parties will be placed in the waiting room.
I put that in my PTO. I did put that in there. That she threw an iron. That's why I'm afraid of for my life. I put that in the TPO that she threw an iron at me.
And you offered testimony to that effect. And she took the stand when she testified and was subject to questioning. The parties are going to be placed in the waiting room.
Just
and
give
we
me
will
5
proceed
minutes. I want to go to the restroom.
We will
5
go
minutes,
at least, we will give you at least 5 minutes. I can promise you that. So take all the time you need. I know we have been going for 2 hours here. So
Actually, Judge, we've been going for over 3 hours, which means it's time to stop. You guys, I have to check and see if I actually got the end of that. If I didn't, maybe Hector did. Love you, Hector. You should post that video. I will link it. I know that People in Court is on tonight. I have a few other. Oh, Hector does have the end of it. Perfect. Well, either post it or send it to me and I'll post it later. I have a few fun things to take care of, and then I have a few work things to take care of. So I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Go visit People in Court. Give her a KCC high. Remember that I love you. I'm proud of you. And I will see you tomorrow. Also, F in the chat for all of our awesome selves. Cliffhanger, I don't know if I have the rest of it. Cellulite Yoga Pants, I really don't think I do. But we'll go look at that. I love you guys. Aw, Billy, you're so sweet. Somebody trolled me the other night and said, "You're not a model, lady." And I said, F in the chat for me being a model. Okay, love you guys. Bye.